I still haven't tried making a cloud wallet for my first FTW wallet, but I do want to do that.
All right, posted that we are live.
Second 2FA? Sheesh. Sheesh. Token bridge.
Oh, my stomach's been all jacked up lately. Ran out of friggin' probiotics. Thought my stomach is just getting better. Turns out if I stop taking probiotics, it immediately goes back to sucking.
Oh.
And I bought different probiotics from Ralph's, and then learned those probiotics don't work. I was like, why is this not helping? And then I Googled it, and people were like, yeah, if you have symptoms, this actually makes it worse. You have to wait until your symptoms lessen, and then you can take that type of probiotic.
Oh.
Stomach stuff is just a bunch of fucking nonsense.
I guess so.
I ordered new plant-based probiotics on Amazon. That should be here by Thursday.
Ah. Oh, wow. They got a bridge to Polygon and Polygon ZK EVM. So the ZK sync rollup for Polygon is part of this as well. For just the NFTs, it looks like, though.
Yeah.
Token bridge seems to only be Wax to ETH. I don't even think there's one to BSC.
That's what I was saying. You have to do that through Alien Worlds, because the bridges only work if the Wax team puts up a shit ton of liquidity, and I don't think they're going to
That's true.
Have liquidity on every chain.
I don't really get that though, because they're all we're trying to be a top TVL chain. It's where's the TVL coming from if you don't put up liquidity? How are we supposed to move between chains? But yeah,
I mean, I think they're focusing on NFTs, not FTs, which is why they keep introducing new NFT bridges.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Select blockchain. Polygon. Wax to Polygon.
So I guess for anybody joining us, Max is looking at the new bridges. Wax Medium just released an article today about Wax's multi-chain leap. It's basically just talking about the NFT bridges that exist. Which they have one to Ethereum, they have one to BSC, Binance Smart Chain, and they have one to Polygon now. So super cool that. What's going on, Rising Dragon? Super cool that Nefty took time to build a bridge that the Wax team just ended up building. So
yeah. Although I don't see how you could add any other collections other than right now it's just blockchain brawlers. It looks like I can move from Wax.
It's expanded eventually though. Ethereum, you can bridge any collection into Ethereum now.
Oh yeah, let's see. Ethereum.
But the Polygon one just launched, so I don't think it has the same. I guess BSC has existed for a while, and I don't think you can use bridge other ones to BSC, but
yeah. Right now, I mean, in the Wax Cloud wallet, I can share my screen. I'll show you what I mean, or what I'm looking at.
What's going on, Mono Suerte?
Yo. Share screen. Let's just do a quick share like this. Looks like right now the NFT bridge here is Legendary Brawlers or regular Brawlers collection. And I can see my collection for Brawlers, but that's the only ones I can choose, even into ETH. So I'm going ETH. Let's see if I go into Binance Smart Chain.
I know for a fact other collections have been bridged to ETH because I'm in the Wax general channel and other people are like, hey, you can now bridge my collection to Ether. It's probably just because you're not holding it.
Oh, maybe.
Because you have assets from that collection, right?
Let's see. I do have assets from Brawlers. I don't have the Legendary Brawlers, but those show up. But I feel like that might just show up because it always shows up.
I feel like it'd be pretty messy if every collection was visible on the screen if you didn't hold them all.
Oh, this is a test.
I don't know. I haven't done it for sure, but I want to say like Skunky Chunks or somebody. Like somebody posted that you could do it and showed an example of them doing it. So also they literally released a thing saying any collection can bridge over to ERC20 if you pay the fee. So
That's true. I am on their Medium. Let's see. Counts of integrated NFT bridges. They're definitely choosing some major blockchains to bridge into. Ethereum, Binance, and Polygon are definitely like top 5 or so. I think Binance is a little lower than top 5, possibly. Binance also has a little bit of trouble brewing. I could show some of that off, actually. But let's see. NFT Bridge and my cloud wallet makes these exciting questions a reality. Okay, let's see, what were the questions? From the genesis of blockchain technology, Ethereum has always been a pivotal player, yes. Its smart contract capabilities have made it a hub for a diverse range of applications, including the bustling world of non-fungible tokens. However, what if your favorite NFT collection initially born on the Wax blockchain could gain direct access to the vast Ethereum ecosystem? What if you could enjoy the convenience and affordability of Wax fees and instant transactions, yet tap into Ethereum's deep liquidity? The NFT bridge in the MyCloud wallet makes these exciting questions a reality. It empowers collection owners to break the chains of network confinement, unlocking the ability to deploy an ERC 721 smart contract representing their collection on Ethereum. Activation is simple and requires only proof of ownership and an Ethereum destination address. Okay. Once the ERC 721 contract is deployed, owners maintain full control over their bridge collections utility, an undeniable game changer. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, actually, that's a pretty big step forward. Especially because you could create like I bet you could create like a very complicated like collection on Wax that, you know, has a schema or something that is much more limited, and then just bridge that limited schema over or something like that. Bridge your NFTs today. Where does this take me? Let's see. Wait, is this the same fucking article again? Oh no, this tells you exactly how to do it. Okay. Now this is what I was looking for. They say not now. Thrilled to announce the integration of the NFT bridge in the cloud wallet. This innovation feature will unlock a new world of I already read kind of this. Enjoy free and instant transaction on Wax. Blah 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 blah. Futures multi-chain. I kind of agree with that as well. Collection owners will need to activate their collection for transfer in the cloud wallet and be required to prove that they are the collection owners. All Wax collections are eligible for transfer regardless of whether they are initially created using Cloud Wallet or other Wax blockchain wallets like Anchor. Fuck yeah, that's great. Collection owners will need to a destination chain address that they control, which has no existing smart contracts deployed on it. So basically a clean wallet. Although I don't think most wallets that people are using, I don't think most people are deploying smart contracts. So your existing wallet might be fine. Activation will generate and deploy an ERC 721 smart contract representing the collection on the destination chain using the collection owner's ETH or BSC address provided. The collection owner's address will be the owner of the ERC 721 smart contract deployed, and you'll have to pay the gas fees associated with the ERC 721 smart contract deployment process. That can be pretty pricey on Ethereum mainnet, depending on how bad the current mempool backup is and how many transactions are going through. But it's also a one-time fee, a one-time thing. You pay it, you deploy the collection, and then it exists. Collection owners will have full control over their bridged collection utility, but can't upgrade or change the smart contract once it has been deployed. So it's immutable. That's good. I like that. They can choose which marketplaces to list and set up their collection once the transfer has been enabled and the gas fees have been paid. I see. If there are multiple Wax blockchain collections that collection owners want to enable for transfer, each will require a separate destination chain address. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because they said that you have to have an address that doesn't already have a smart contract deployed on it. And once you've bridged one collection, then you will have deployed a smart contract on that address. So that totally makes sense. Without further ado, let's walk through this step by step. Okay, I'm curious about how this goes. Okay, first step, access the NFT bridge from the mycloudwallet.com. Yeah, we already know how to do that. So to begin, go to mycloudwallet.com, click the NFT bridge, which here's mycloudwallet.com. NFT bridge is on the left. Okay, so far so good. Let's see. Please choose Anchor option and connect your Anchor wallet to begin. You must initiate the bridge transaction with the same wallet that owns the collection. Aha. So let's see. Oh, here it is, collection setup. So you'd come in here. Oh, here's the Anchor wallet collection. And then you can connect your Anchor. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to try to bridge our collection live on air, but that's where you do it. Let's see the next thing here. So here's an image. They're signing a transaction. Collection setup. In the NFT bridge tab under collection setup, to get started bridging your collection over to Ethereum or Binance Smart Chain. Yeah, I don't hate this whole concept. I would not really be opposed to trying this and setting up a bridge to like Polygon, because I think Polygon of all these chains is probably my favorite of this ecosystem.
Can you do
Although
it to
if we
any chain or only Ether right now?
it's Ether, BSC, or Polygon right now, so we could bridge it to any three of these chains. We could literally bridge it to all three of them if we wanted to.
I still love the idea of centralized bridges in crypto in general, and I feel like it's not the future. And if we bridge our shit over to Polygon and then something else comes out in the future, it could just make it messier.
That's true too. And there's not really a
I don't have
demand
to
in our
deploy
community
multiple
for wanting to
collections on a
move
new
off.
chain. If what if we don't want to use the Wax Teams bridge and there becomes a different bridge standard?
Yeah, that, and I would say I don't think anyone in our community is asking us to leave Wax for a different chain. So it would just be like, oh, let's do this because we can, and that's not a good reason to do it. Also, I would probably opt for ETH mainnet so that we could go onto Immutable, because once your collection's on mainnet, you can easily get into Immutable. But let's see. Anyway, I'm curious how this goes. In the NFT bridge tabs, like
I think it's like interesting concept, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the friggin' whatever bridges didn't exist. Once the IBC bridges didn't exist like a year ago or whatever, and that's a better tech than the other bridge. So it's like, who's to say they're not just going to invent a better bridge that would be better to use in the future? But then if you like did the first one, then your stuff's all locked in there, and then I don't know. That sounds like a huge mess.
Yeah, or if you did the first one and then you do the next one, you'll have like a redundant, like multiple.
That's what I'm saying. So
since
there's no actual need to do it right now, I feel like there's no point in potentially
if there's a
mudding
big
up.
demand for our collection on these other chains, I'd be like, okay, let's try this, but there definitely is not. Let's see. Choose the collection and send.
Crypto Wizard says you should check out Army of Crypto, strategic card game built on Onyx blockchain. Really dope and quite addicting. I have never heard of the Onyx blockchain, but we can check it out at some point.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out. Lewis and I got into some Oasis stuff last week. I got my little my Oasis dragon. He flies. He was playing soccer. He got kind of tired and fell asleep, even though his meter said he was fully awake. And then I took him and raced him, and he lost last place. So maybe I should have just let him sleep.
Somebody else said I should check out this thing called like Planet X or something. I don't know. I got a DM yesterday about it. Said you should check out, yes, Planet X. But I don't know. Maybe we can check those out at the end of the stream.
Let's see. Here is an example of somebody establishing their contract. Looks like they're paying $62 in gas. That's not terrible. I mean, it's terrible compared to what we pay on ETH or on Wax, but it's not terrible for an Ethereum contract deployment. Let's see. Make sure you have the collection correct on Ethereum. And then approve. After the transaction is approved, click claim. Your Wax collection will be mapped onto the ETH or Binance smart contract. To finalize the transfer, you'll need to sign a transaction on either ETH or Binance chain to pay the gas fees associated with the smart contract deployment. Okay, so there's another. This is just the initializing it for the $60. Not super cheap. Oh yeah, here's the contract. Also showing like, what is that? Another $62 or something for this one. But I believe that is on Binance.
The gas is Grilly ETH, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, I don't know what this guy's paying as his gas asset.
But
Maybe
I don't know.
it's
You
a
pay
Z.
that once, then once it's paid, then the bridging of the actual
Yeah,
assets is cheaper. So that's on the collection owner to pay
yeah,
once.
exactly. Exactly. So this isn't something that a collector would ever have to worry about. After signing these transactions, the collection will take some time to initialize. Be patient. Greatness takes time, it says. So once you've done this, I guess you gotta wait before you can actually start doing the transfers. Once the collection has been initialized, you can view your collection address. Congratulations, you successfully mapped your Wax NFT collections between networks. I mean, that's pretty cool to have a user-facing tool to be able to do some cross-chain stuff like this. We're confident that integrating the NFT bridge into the cloud wallet will revolutionize the NFT landscape, enabling collectors to enjoy unprecedented freedom and flexibility in managing their digital assets. Don't wait any longer. Try that today and experience the future of NFTs. Honestly, really cool, innovative stuff. What I would love to see is how do I bridge like a way for people on the other chains to bridge their collection and map them onto Wax, because I'd be more interested in trading, certain Ethereum based NFTs, but on Wax using Wax's, instant settlement and fee structure versus trying to pay ETH gas for all that stuff. Although realistically, Immutable X is kind of cutting into that business quite a bit, because you can just transfer your NFTs into the Immutable contract on ETH mainnet, and then transactions can be gasless for your collectors. So it's a version of that exists, but it would be cool to see a bridge where people can map collections from other chains onto Wax. But I feel like this is step one in that happening, so that's pretty cool. Some article. This came out today, so some new developments. Let's see, and then the Polygon Bridge is like the newest news of this. It says Polygon Bridge and the dawn of ZK EVM integration. So for people who are unfamiliar, ZK Sync is what ZK EVM is. ZK Sync is like a roll up or like a layer 2 that was deployed maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. Like the mainnet went live. It's been developed for like 2 years or something. But it's nice to see that it's also part of this. So the ZK rollups is like a even cheaper second layer on top of Polygon, and Polygon's already pretty cheap. But it says our last integration brings yet another player into the fray, the Polygon network. Renowned for its high throughput and close-knit community, Polygon's appeal lies in the efficient layer 2 solution and the novel concept of the ZK EVM, or zero knowledge Ethereum virtual machine. It's basically a privacy layer 2. But what if you could combine Polygon's vast liquidity with the benefits of Wax Cloud Wallet? The answer lies in the Polygon Bridge. Integration presents an exhilarating opportunity for Wax NFT owners to transfer their collections onto Polygon Network, opening up a massive, or a universe rather, of possibilities. With free and instant transactions on Wax and vast liquidity on Polygon, the match made in blockchain heaven. Fun. Let's see. Imagine, wouldn't such a multi-chain future transform the way we perceive and interact with blockchains? Maybe. I feel like blockchain usage, if you're using blockchains like the way I use them, you are always moving between chains. So I would say the current state of blockchain usage is already very multi-chain. But this is absolutely making multi-chain moves more accessible.
You're doing it more with fungible tokens than non-fungible tokens. So I would say if it becomes the norm for non-fungible tokens, that is something new. But I would say currently there's no reason to be bridging like any of your assets on Wax to any other blockchains. Like it's up on the projects to make there be a reason to do it.
I did move quite a bit of my like USDT and stuff off of Wax in the last few weeks to jump onto like the Coinbase blockchain, the base chain, which that goes live tomorrow, by the way. But of course, if you're in the know, you can move your assets through developer bridges that have been live for about 2 weeks now. The mainnet launched for developers to start like bringing their protocols on chain, so that when the blockchain goes live to the Coinbase clientele, stuff like Uniswap, SushiSwap, and bigger DeFi protocols will already be there for people to interact with, rather than every developer having to like scramble to get their shit running at the same time as like users are onboarding. So, the bridge is open, the network is live, but tomorrow is the day that like within like Coinbase's DeFi wallet, you'll be able to access this base chain. I'm really excited to see how all that goes. But let's see, in a world where blockchains have traditionally functioned in their isolated silos, the Wax blockchain is shattering the norms and setting a new standard for interoperability. By integrating these NFT bridges into the Wax cloud wallet, we're not just facilitating the coexistence of multiple blockchains, we're creating a symphony of seamless interoperability. We continue to chart unexplored territories. The question remains, are you ready to join us in the journey towards multi-chain future? Okay, my takeaway from this is yes. Thank you for focusing on something that's very developer and like blockchain creator. Like, this is something that the Wax team should be building versus like a click farm game or some type of like gaming thing in general. If they're not like game designers, it's kind of strange to me that they went so hard into like building their own games. It's nice to see an update coming from the Wax team where they are building their blockchain out. And this is definitely innovative. I haven't seen like a lot of cross chain for NFT options to begin with, and the ones that I do see are not necessarily accessible to every creator. Like every independent project can't just easily deploy a cross chain contract like this. So I would have to put this into the innovation category. This is cool.
I'd also say,
as a collection owner, I don't know if I'm going to use this immediately, but I'm very excited to see this kind of thing being developed.
my take on this is more that this is more for developers and project owners than it is for users. Like, there's not a lot of reason to go bridge your NFT over to a chain where there's no demand for it. But if project owners have run out of a market on Wax and there's nobody to sell to on Wax, they can now go sell NFTs on other chains and have you bridge them to Wax to work with their dApps and their games and stuff. So that's what it's more probably going to be used for.
I would have preferred this approach for creators on Wax over what the ones who have gone cross-chain have done in the past. Like if I'm thinking about like how Ryder launched like the Finny collection on Ethereum, where they basically just launched another version of the collection like in parallel to the existing collection, and they don't really have anything to do with each other. I feel like that feels a lot more like a money grab and a shit move, where you're basically asking your existing collectors to buy the same stuff again on a new blockchain. Whereas if they had used a bridge like this, we could have seen our existing NFTs being moved over to the new blockchain environment, and then them reaching a new audience and existing holders on this chain benefiting from that in a way that really didn't happen the way it was done. So this is cool. It gives us the ability to do, or it gives creators again the ability to do something. And the really part I'd like to add to what you're saying about like, yeah, this is more of a developer facing tool. I agree, but it does seem accessible to any level of developer. Like this isn't just for like the main top 10 big collections on here. This is like any collection, even one that was created yesterday, has access to this. And that definitely is an innovation. That's really cool.
If done correctly, it could also onboard people to Wax, because like what Blockchain Brawlers is doing is you can't sign into Blockchain Brawlers with a BSC wallet. You can't sign into their game interface with an Ethereum wallet. The assets are over there. If you'd like to use them, you have to bridge them back over to Wax to use them in the game. So even if they do get cross-chain, like they start becoming known on the other chains, you're going to have to eventually come back to Wax and learn how to use Wax to play the game. So in that case, it could be an onboarding tool. But I also sort of think if developers are smart at all, they'll let people sign in with other wallets and not force people to learn how to use bridges to
That's
use the projects. But since the Wax
yeah.
team is running blockchain brawlers, I think their goal is to make it grow Wax, so they're doing it in that specific way.
Yeah, I do like that approach actually, where it's like your NFTs can exist on any chain, and then you can just sign into your game from any chain, and it'll look at whatever wallet, what do you have in that wallet, and there's no reason to necessarily move the asset between the chains when you can just tell the game or the endpoint to look at a different chain.
I also don't think it's that crazy to make people have to bridge to a chain though, because even if you look at like Mythical, the way they do it, the only way you can play with Mythical things, like in Blankos, you can bridge it to Ethereum. But if you want to play it, it has to be in your Mythical wallet. So like bridging to a
Yeah,
centralized space to be able to play a game, I think is going to be the meta anyway. So like even if you're on like Ethereum or whatever, like you might have to put it into a smart contract or whatever to play the game. So I don't know. I
yeah.
don't think that's that crazy of a concept that like you have to use a bridge if you want to play on the chain the game is on. But we'll see. I don't know if that's going to be the meta in the future. So I do think the other way is more convenient for the customer, and that's probably going to be what wins because people don't want to have to learn how to bridge shit to be able to play games.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, and then
Monosuerte
here I
says launch into new markets without increasing your overall quantity. Even yeah, that would be what we would have
that's
hoped
exactly
somebody like
that's what I
the
was saying
Writer
about
Infinity collection did instead of just dropping another
yeah,
10k NFTs on another chain where it's like, okay, now there's 20,000 of these. Like 10,000 was already too many. Like you
yeah.
can't just double your quantity and expect the value to stay.
And overwhelmingly we're still marketing to the same community. It's not like they're like, oh, we have a new community on Ethereum that wants this collection. They were just like, there's more money on Ethereum, let's like do this again, which
I
is
mean,
kind
that
of
collection totally jumped the shark. They're the ones that launched. I don't know if you've heard of Mongcoin, but they launched like Mongcoin,
what.
which is a meme coin, and they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be the next Shiba, the next Doge, like the next meme coin." And it's just like, I don't know, like I don't know. He's like, meme coins are the future of cryptocurrency. I was like, this is such a weird like pivot from this brand because they went from being educating people about blockchain and like legitimate blockchain technology to like, hey, like buy this PFP that stakes for a meme coin. We're just copying Bored Apes, but like, you know, clearly are doing a cash grab and have no future or like vision for
Yeah,
what the future will be besides like
we're copying
free
Bored
money.
Apes, but without the millions and millions of dollars in a treasury. It's just like an empty treasury, and we'll do the same thing. But for some reason, our coins will be the next big thing. Which is like, people buy ApeCoin because of Ooga Labs War Chest, not because Ooga Labs is a good game developer. It's because they have so much fucking money. It's realistic that they might build something cool.
You
Which is
should
also
look up
like we were saying,
how
every time.
Mongcoin is doing. I
Oh
haven't
yeah,
looked
let's look.
lately, but last I checked, it was not doing so hot. And he's in the like Atomic Kings chat just talking about he's like, oh, this is gonna be the future, like it's gonna moon, you guys should buy now. Like I'm pretty sure just completely collapsed since he said that. But
It's MOM.
MONG.
ONG.
The other slap in the face was this was only to people who bought like the Mong project, which is like, oh, so the people who bought Finny stuff on Wax don't get any of this token. Only the people that bought into your new Ponzi. Like I don't know, everything about it was lame.
Down almost 1% today. 24
Pull out
hours,
like
not so
30 days or
hot.
something so we can
On
see
the
it.
week, here's the month. Womp womp womp. Here's 3 months. Oof.
It's the
Let's
future,
do
guys.
all time. Yeah, man. Damn, the future is not looking so hot.
And that is probably about where he's telling us to buy in because it's going to be the future. Is when it was spiking like that. He's like, "Look how good we're doing. We're all going to get rich. You guys should buy into this." It was like I already bought into your last
Dumb.
several projects, and they all failed horribly because you don't do anything with them.
Damn. Yeah,
But
this
that's what
is
Writer's up to. If anybody's interested in what they're doing instead of Wax,
did they still have their Bored Ape that they bought with all the Wax money they raised?
I don't know. I left their Discord. Like I stopped hate following friggin' collections. Like all the collections that just like pretty much rugged Wax and don't do anything. It's like, why am I still in these Discords? Left the Graffiti Kings Discord, left the Uplift Discord, left the Writer Discord, left the Wax Arena Discord. Like all those things I was just in to like pop in and be like, these people fucking suck. It's like this is not good for my mental
Yeah.
and emotional health. Like I don't need to be hate following projects. So I got the fuck out of there. And turns out they've done nothing with it since then. So
Yeah, and here's the orange line is the same coin in terms of Bitcoin. In case you're thinking, oh well, Bitcoin's down as well. No, not like this. Here's the same price chart if we're looking at it just denominated in Bitcoin, and it's also Yeah, I don't know.
The sad thing too is this is what was supposed to be. Finnies were supposed to stake for coins. You're supposed to get Finny coins on Wax, but they
Yeah,
just
I
like
remember that.
totally abandoned that and they did it for a different project they sold on a different chain. So they're like, and then when I like asked him about it, he's like, "Well, you should have bought into this one." It's like, how many projects do you have to buy into if you fulfill the promise for the first one? You had a
Why
roadmap
would I
that said
buy
there's
into this?
staking and tokens, and like
Also,
I wouldn't have bought your
minus
crap if you.
97% is literally like that's rug pull numbers. Like, oof.
I don't
What a
know.
money
It is what
grab
it
that is.
is.
Over
But
and over
anyway,
again.
they should have used
But
this new bridge
yeah,
system to not cash
yeah,
grab,
right.
but like I'm showing you an example of they're just clearly trying to do like crazy cash grab stuff. They like I don't know. They were such a legitimate project for a while, and they went from just being like, okay, we're gonna stop even trying to be legitimate and just like literally make scam tokens. It's like I don't know, because Writer's whole thing was they were writers. They were a crypto publication, and they published articles about like how to use crypto and like how to sign up for wallets, and like they were
Yeah, and they
actually
were solid
informative.
articles. Yeah,
Yeah, and they had smart people on their team, and it's just like, what the hell happened over there? Like, you guys all just
cool
abandoned
artwork
that,
too.
and we're like, okay, let's make meme coins. It's like, I don't know.
The
Strange
future is now.
times.
Get in on this mom coin. I mean, hey, I bet you if you talked about this to him, he'd be like, "Hey, you know what? It's down 97%. There's nowhere to go but up. Like, it's the perfect time to buy." Is what I would
I think
expect.
he
I
got
mean,
banned from the Atomic Kings chat, so I literally haven't had to hear from him since then, and I'm fine with that. I don't need to talk to that guy.
that's good.
He's a fucking sleazy used car
Dude,
salesman. He's not a fucking
you missed out.
innovator.
You missed out on this huge rug pull.
I will say people who bought Mongs probably did okay because you could stake them for the token. So people that bought their NFTs that basically got rug pulled, if they sold during the hype, probably did okay. So I'm sure some people are happy about
So
it. But
you just had to keep buying into this guy's projects until he finally made good on one of these
yeah, if I
promises of
bought
that.
into the fifth project instead of the first couple, then I would have been okay. But I learned my lesson from the first couple, so I stopped.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy. I feel like easy target to kind of point at and be like, this guy kind of a shitter.
The way he justifies it too
well.
is crazy. Like if you go read his chats in the Atomic Kings, he's like, oh, like I don't know. That's why
Yeah,
I'm
he's like, I never
happy I don't
said
have
it
it.
had this. It's like you did though. You said that and you implied it and you like
They also said they're
made
making a new marketplace on Wax that just never dropped. They're like, okay, we pivoted from doing this and we're going to launch a new marketplace where you get tokens to be able to upvote other. It was like that shit never happened either. Like he just like kept announcing stuff they couldn't do.
right. What a guy.
But it is what it
Well,
is.
there you go.
I don't know.
So we
People
know.
don't really change their colors. Like if someone scammed you 3 times in the NFT space, don't buy in their fourth project. Like it's not that
Yeah,
crazy.
which is why it's important to do that like background check on people when they're like, okay, this new collection is coming out. It's like, but the person launching it was behind these other rug pulls, so that's gonna be a no from me, dog.
I'm definitely like jaded from being in the NFT space for so long, but like my initial
Yeah,
assumption when looking at any new project is this is a scam until proven otherwise. Like I assume it's a scam, not that it's a legitimate project, because that's a safe assumption in this space. If you're just buying into some random thing, it's like, yeah, 95 out of 100 of these are going to screw you. So like,
yeah, you're gonna be right 9 out of 10 times that it actually turns out it was a scam, which
which is
is
why like
sad. Easy to get
people
jaded.
told us to look at Army of Crypto in X Planet, and I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I'm more likely to hate on this than I am to like it. Like, people that come here wanting us to shill stuff, it's like, I'm going to be critical, and most of these projects don't do well.
People are like, "Can you show our game off on your stream?" It's like, yeah, you don't want us to do that because we're gonna rip it to shreds. Like, you have no development experience, and we're gonna call that shit out. Like, I don't think that it's like it's not gonna be a positive like promotion that you think it is. So usually we're just like, no, we can't do that. Which I don't know. Like you said, it's just the reality of the space, and we've also like got swept up in the hype, and people get burned, especially when like people they trust in this space are like, yeah, excited about something. Like I get excited when especially back in the day when like the wax like NFT market was going crazy. Like if Burst was buying into something, I was like, shit, I'll buy this. Like I'm excited if he's excited, and it's not that I'm like he's not shilling it to me, but like I don't know, as somebody who is a project creator and like on like a stream and stuff and people like tune in, I'm very much cautious about painting new projects or potential like scams in a positive light because I've done that and people have lost, and it
Not
sucks.
just that, I don't want to lose more money. I'm tired of buying into scams. So like, I vet it as in would I buy into this, and then say my opinion based on that. And honestly, most new projects are not worth buying into because like, even if they aren't a scam, they're like shelf life is like 12 months, and then they can't raise more money for development, and then everything you bought is now game items for a game that doesn't exist.
Yeah, like
So
a
it's not
cool
even
premise.
necessarily bad intentions. It's just like, I don't know, most startups fail. You have to be very experienced to not fail within like 3 years.
I've had a hard time with like losing money on my own, which is that's okay, that's fine. Like I make those calls, but when other people lose money based on my calls, that fucking hits me harder. Like I don't like that at all. And so I definitely very cautious to endorse stuff. Even in
My
like
goal is generally to show people stuff they can do for free. And like I'm making a free to play Rivals guide right now. It's like, how can you interface to this without spending money? Because if you do spend money, you might lose money. But and Valor and Vellum says, sorry, totally off topic, but if Lewis and Max want to keep a T promo pack each, go for it. I can show that off really quick. I'm going to remove your screen. Yeah. I'm going to pop up my screen.
Stop sharing my screen, and I want to see what you're showing off.
You don't have to stop sharing it. I just minimized it. But
let's see. Let's see it.
Speaking of not scam collections, we love Sune, which is made by Valor and Vellum, aka Priscilla. And she makes real life collectibles that you can get, physical collectibles. I would say it's one of the most legitimate projects on Wax. Like it doesn't always have the most hype, but
I agree.
Priscilla goes to actual conventions and onboards new users to Wax. She gets wallet sign up codes, and then she gives them claimable NFTs. So if you buy the physical, you get a code to sign up for Wax Wallet and a free claim NFT. So she's actually out there onboarding people that are not already on Wax, and also not a bunch of like crypto ROI bros, like actual collectors and people interested in legitimate projects. So shout out to
there's
Priscilla.
NFTs in her collection that just aren't on the secondary market because the people who hold them aren't flipping them, aren't going to flip them. It's just collectors.
Priscilla also asks, is Max eating a rib? I think he's eating chicken.
Chicken, palm-made chicken wings. 3 different kinds. Here, you want to see? Let me turn my camera around.
Chicken 3 ways. What is it? Lemon pepper. I see buffalo. What's the third way? I don't think Max has his mic right now, but two of them kind of just look like lemon peppers. One also like garlic parmesan.
Got it. Garlic parmesan. Yep, that's the third one.
Nailed it. So these are the Tea Party packs. Also, holy crap, these are selling for, well, it's the lowest listed. There's no suggested price, but the cheapest one's listed for $50. That's wild. Priscilla sent me some sort of infographic that I haven't read yet that I should look at so we can explain this correctly. Oh, I forgot I sent all the free claims, and my DMs are crazy right now. They're crazy right now. Oh yeah, we shipped out our stickers yesterday too, speaking of people who are not scamming people, sending people real life stuff. We got our
Speaking of
Cut My Life into Pizza stickers are now off in the mail. Here we go. You are cordially invited to Sune's Tea Party. Complete the Mega Blend original watercolor paintings, Tea Party characters, tea items, and seating. Complete the Mega Blend for a chance to win the physical original watercolors. So you can get, I guess, if you get all the blends, you get the final blend, you can get the actual physical painting, right? That's watercolors.
Oh shit! I really like those watercolor ones. I think there's a whole set of them. Those have been out for a minute, like the NFT versions of them, where you go from like the sketch version and then you blend it into the color versions. I got a full set of the color ones, but it'd be really cool to have like a physical of it.
Sounds like there's a Dreaming of Tea character pack, Dreaming of Tea character blend, Tea Party channel pack, point packs. So you can earn them by watching Valorant Vellum and redeeming 10k channel points. So if you're a viewer of her Twitch, you can get some packs. Blend pack. Blend your
That's
playthrough
super
the
cool.
Paint Series 1 comments and earn packs. So that's super cool. If you bought a bunch of her
Yeah,
earlier drop, you can use that drop to blend into the new packs.
I think that's the drop. I mean, I have, but I'm not blending those. I have like one of each of the color ones. I think I might still have a few extra of the like outlined ones.
And join
Maybe
us
I'll
for the kickoff stream, and that's Thursday, August 10th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Join the stream for drops, blends, and giveaways. And there'll probably be a limited amount of these channel points packs. So if you do want the channel points, it might be worth tuning in this Thursday to twitch.tv/ValorantVellum. Because if it's a limited quantity and people take them all on the first day, then get there, be square. Let's see if I can get a link for that so people can send her a follow. And Vellum, hopefully this is correct. It is. All right.
I got a question for Priscilla. When it comes to chicken wings, are you more about the drumsticks or the flats? And I'll tell you what I prefer after.
I feel like isn't flats normally how they do wings?
Drumsticks, flats all the way for me. Paul loves the drumsticks too, though, so it works out real well. He's eating all the drums, and I'm eating all the flats. I feel like a good wing, if you're ordering wings, it should be like an even split, like half and half drums and half flats.
I feel like I don't have a preference between the two. Like, no, they're both just fucking chicken.
Yeah, we're the perfect match. Don't give me that look, baby. Just give me a look with half a drumstick.
Let's see if I can find the blends too. Nefty.
Oh, are the blends live already?
No, but I mean, they might be on the thing so you can see what you need for them. Dreaming of T character pack is live in one day. Possible mint number 1 still out there. Yeah, and see the blends are already up. Tea Party blend pack. That just takes 20 assets. I would assume that would be the 20 commons from the previous one. And that's pretty cool. That means if you bought a bunch of the old packs and pulled a bunch of commons and you have a bunch of duplicates, you can turn it into new artwork. Not too unsimilar to what we do with our blend tokens. Let's see what you need for the mega blend. So you just need one of each for the mega blend. Well, actually, no, you need 2 of the chairs and 2 of the teacups. And there's 50 of these. So that means 50 people will get VIRLs. All right, no.
Oh, it's just the rarest one.
Yeah, maybe just the animated one gets the VIRL.
I guess we'll have to let Priscilla confirm.
Which comes with the opportunity to win one of the physical original watercolors featuring artwork used to skate. I would imagine it's just the animated one, but I don't know. The animated one's also cool. Is animation new? I feel like there's not usually animation in.
I don't know. I haven't seen many animated
stuff. Are you learning how to animate stuff?
Okay, the LE4 animated ones are the ones that come with watercolor paintings. So it's the rarest one that is the redeemable. And
I feel like since we're talking about it, let's give one away now.
Right, for sure.
Since we got it hot. Exclamation point neon if you want to join this giveaway.
But most of them are not animated. I like the animated stuff a lot.
I'm going to sign into our giveaway wallet here so I can actually send it. Do it live. I was working on a new song yesterday for Burn Street blend, which was a suggestion from I Am the KY. He said he wanted stickers that promoted our Twitch stream so he can go stick them around in Texas. I was like, that's not a bad idea. Also, we have artwork for that already, so we're probably going to make an NFT version as well. that'll probably be our next blend. Shit, I just logged into the wrong wallet. My brain is not working at full speed today. I don't think I've gotten more than 6 hours of sleep in like a week. I've been very sleep deprived. Partially because my stomach is messed up again, but
That sucks. I've been getting up every day at like 6:25 a.m. and then
it's definitely after or before I went to sleep.
yeah, I was gonna say I hear you sometimes. I've like I went out once. You're still up at like 7. You seemed like you're still wide awake.
I was watching the quarterback series on Netflix last night. I finished that. It's actually really good, especially now that I'm more interested in football because I'm playing Rivals.
Oh, nice. Oh, I love those stickers, Priscilla. That you sent us a couple of those with our Twitch name on it, and I've been sticking those places too. Mostly places where other stickers are already stuck, so that I know that like stickers can survive there. But like I think last time when we went to like the Grove with your dad, I stuck a Neon Space sticker on one of those outdoor tables.
I feel like the wash your cheeks one, which is going to be our next one, will be fun to put in bathrooms.
That's not bad, yeah. I want to stick there's like a couple of gay bars. I want to like stick one of the live dudes one like right outside of it. Cause like there's one that's like it's like you have to go into this alley to get like to the entrance to the club, like to the I guess it's more of a bar than a club. But it'd be fun to like stick the live dudes with the arrow pointing into the alley. We'll just see how long it lasts though.
I agree. Everybody should be washing their butts. I'm still
I
working
don't
on
know.
getting my
Not when
my
you're like
bidet
in a
functional.
public restroom. I don't know that you're like washing your cheeks, right? Maybe if you like have a mean shit and like get some splashback.
I think it's lobbying for bidets in public restrooms.
Oh, I'd be all about that. I love my
That's our
bidet.
campaign. Our campaign to publicly lobby for bidets. I'm still sad I got my bidet in my private restroom, but
Paul and I are about to go like visit family in Seattle, and like that's the main thing I feel like I'm gonna miss is the bidet. I know my
my
parents have a
parents have
bidet, but
bidets in
we're,
their
like,
condo.
we're not gonna be at my parents the whole time. I feel like I'm gonna like be wiping my butt with sandpaper.
They're sending me a replacement adapter because mine was leaking. So hopefully the new adapter. I feel like you guys probably didn't have to do that though, right? You just got the like. Did you choose what size the adapter was, or did you just buy the default one?
Paul, you installed it. Whatever was in the box, he said. So yeah, just the default one, and it should be the
That's why
same.
I'm worried. Like, they're sending me a new one. I think they're going to send me the wrong size. Like, I don't know, I sent them the information they asked for, but like, probably way in the weeds for most people. There's like a half-inch valve, I think, going to the wall, and then a 7/8 valve going to the toilet. And I think they sent me the half-inch, but that's going to the wall, not to the toilet. So we'll see if it works. But I also sent them a picture of the thing, and they're the experts on toilet stuff, so they should know better than me. So maybe it will
touchy
work.
people. They should know.
It is cool that if it doesn't work, like they're just sending me a free replacement, like no charge for the new adapter. Congrats to Mocha Twitcher.
Back on top. Mocha Twitcher winning the Sune pack that we've been talking about.
I don't think this is openable yet, right? Like it's openable on Wednesday. Is that the deal? Or is it openable now? I'm not sure.
If is one pack enough? Like if I open one pack, could I just get lucky and pull the redeemable? Or it's like I have to the pack contains the ingredients and the ingredients need to be blended.
You need like 8 or 10 NFTs, and I don't think these packs have 8 or NFTs in them, especially the promo packs. I think you probably get more out of the paid packs, but
yes. Okay, I'm going to keep my eye on this drop. It's been a second since I participated in a Sune drop. I have to set this one on
Thursday, right?
Thursday. Okay, I'll be in Washington, but I'll be around. Also, in case we need to, or we're gonna try to stream with.
I thought you said you were leaving on the 20-something.
22nd, we'll be back.
Oh, you'll be back. When are you leaving?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, tomorrow, 9th to the 20-something. It's like a little over a week. Oh, wait. Yeah, basically 2 weeks. A little under 2 weeks.
Word.
But yeah, I got Marcy's. Yeah, I'll have to show you this because it's adorable. I'll be right back. Check this out.
I might have freaking jury duty this week too. I'm on call right now. Jury duty is such a frustrating process. Like, they let you know at 7 p.m. if you have to be in court the next day at 6 a.m. They like don't even give you 12 hours notice. So I'm basically on call. I have to check every night and then be like, okay, maybe I have to wake up at. I'm so fucked if I have to wake up at 6 too. Like, I've been going to sleep at that time. It's gonna just destroy me if I have to do that. But we'll see.
Check this out. It's Marcy's Life Vest.
For boating.
Yeah, so she can go on the boat and have a little life vest like everybody else.
Marcy. She doesn't really like swimming, does she?
No, she really does not. She likes going kayaking, but it's like I feel like she doesn't necessarily like it as much as she hates being left alone. So she prefers being on the kayak with me than being like left on shore without me. But yeah. But it is really cute. It has a handle on the top, and like she has fallen in the water before, and I'll just be like, "Yoop," scoop her up. It's adorable. Marcy, you want to put it on and show people off your little life vest?
I wish I could ask for night court. I don't know if that's a possibility. I asked to be transferred to a closer court to where I live because the court I got assigned to is 17 miles away, and like, driving 17 miles away during friggin' rush hour traffic could be friggin' long as shit.
That was my thought exacly, Priscilla. It's like that.
I think it is a TV show. I don't think it's a real thing, but I still wish it was real. I'm gonna be so pissed if they actually select me. Like, if I actually show up, my like 100% goal is to get them to dismiss me. I do not want to actually be driving 17 miles every morning for like, I don't know. Some cases go longer than a week too. I remember like one when I was gonna do, they brought you in. They're like, hey, like this is like a sticky case. It might take 3 to 4 weeks. It's just like, the fuck has 3 to 4 weeks to get paid $15 a day, like 5 days a week, and then not do anything. So at this point, I think I actually have a legitimate excuse, though. I was worried if I got selected yesterday or today, but you have to be available for 7 days after the original day. And if they call me in on Wednesday, I have work next Wednesday that I cannot reschedule. So I'll be like, sorry guys, like I cannot fucking be here for a week. And if not, I'll just say I'm racist, like they do in the that jury duty show.
Like, I shouldn't be on here because I'm racist. That's I feel like in real life that would probably work, honestly. Like in the jury duty.
It depends on what the case is. If it's like all white people involved, then it might not matter. I guess if you're racist for white people, I should just say I'm racist for everyone. I'm like, I hate all races, but I guess that just makes you not racist at that point, right? Like,
I had a friend who was like, she got selected for a jury for like a kidnapping trial. And like the defendants were all, she said like they all just looked like straight up gangbangers, like face tattoos, like crazy hood looking guys. And then like one of the jurors' questions was like, if when you see the defendant, like do you get any do you have any like predisposition towards like your thought? And then she was just kind of like, I want to like give them the benefit of the doubt, but like they look like he looks like the way I picture a kidnapper, which she got dismissed.
Yeah, I feel like
it was almost the I'm racist.
I don't like lying, but I am very opinionated. So hopefully it's like a court with police and like, do you have any bias against police? And I'll be like, fuck the police. I don't know, but we'll see.
Fuck the police. Yeah. It's like, nah, man, a cab. Drop a couple a cabs, you'd be all right. I don't know.
I think my work excuse is more legitimate.
The last time I went, I was juror number 43 or something, and by the time they got to juror like 18, they had selected the entire jury, and everyone else got dismissed. Like they selected the jury so fucking fast. I think it's like 10 or 11 people or something like that were selected, and like they only passed like on 6 of them. I didn't even get to go up into the fucking like stand. I was just sitting there waiting.
Monosword says, morning, Lewis. Guilty, give them the death penalty. Sir, this is a civil case. Yeah, I'm just going to, whatever the interview, any question, I'm just going to say how pro-death sentences I am. I'm like, I'm very pro-death penalty. They're like, that's not even legal in this state. And I'm like, Death
I
by
believe
firing
we should
squad,
expect the death
electric
penalty.
chair. I'm just gonna start describing the different ways you can get the death penalty. I feel like that'll get me dismissed.
Yeah. The first thing you should say is just guilty. Whatever they ask you, just be like, guilty.
I feel like I should also say that this is all jokes in case this ends up getting used against me in a court of
Yeah.
law. This is humor. This is not.
Yeah. This is
I
not
try to be
actually how it
honest,
works.
and I
Yeah.
honestly do
When I
have.
was there, I was also like, it's part of like the civic duty. Like I'll take it seriously, but I never got the chance to. I didn't even get asked a question. Although I will repeat this, I feel like I said it before, but like when I was there, one of the questions they asked the jury, and like they would ask a question and then they'll ask each juror to answer like in turn. And the question was, when you look at somebody, can you generally tell if they're being honest or lying? And every one of these fucking people was like, yeah, I can generally tell if someone's lying. And I'm just sitting there like, holy shit, dude, these guys are a bunch of rubes. Like, I can't tell when I'm being lied to. And I'm pretty sure none of you can either. But, people are good at lying. But literally all of them were like, yep, yeah, it's like I have a pretty good sense of honest. Like when people are honest, it's like, no, you don't. Like you just get lied to left and right then if that's how you go through life. Like I go through life. What up, Double Pangea?
Nova Pangea is going to come hang out with us this Thursday, I believe. Hoppenstock says, I'm good at identifying when I lie to people. Even that, sometimes I accidentally lie to people without knowing it.
I don't know, dude. I was blown away. I thought that like most people would be under the impression of like, yeah, you know what? Like some people are good liars, and I've been taken for a fucking ride multiple times because I believed, things I shouldn't have.
Some people are also sociopaths and like can literally lie without any tells. Like, I don't know. All right, since we just got our raid, holy crap, double raid. I wonder if they were on NFT Gamers. Anyway, let's show off, since we have more people. Valor and Vellum, creator of Sune, is doing a drop this Thursday, August 10th. You can blend, let me see if I can find the other picture.
Oh, yeah.
You can blend her NFTs into actual watercolor artworks that she used to make the NFTs. So you can get the physicals. You basically need one of each of the items in the NFTs, 2 of the chairs and 2 of the teacups. And then you have a chance to blend on NFT blocks into an animated one, and that's like a VRL magnet. So if you are interested in VRL and supporting artists on Wax, her drop is currently open. If you go to the drop page for, here, I'll just draw this off on.
Oh, the drop is open. Nice. I thought the drop started on Thursday.
Sorry, the drop. I mean, it's not open. It's the live as in it's counting down until it goes live. It's not open yet.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
you can see the drop. You can bookmark the page and set an alarm on your phone. And then the blends are also counting down. But we have some promo packs to give away, which will give you, I believe, 1 piece per pack. It'll give you 1 item. So this will get you 1 step closer to blending towards a VRL. And let's see, exclamation point neon if you would like to join.
He maybe fucked up the raid. Well, welcome to the
raid. It says 48 people are watching. I think it was a visual glitch because we did not have enough. The numbers don't add up if you only rated in with 11 people. We would be at 48 right now.
Before.
Thank you for the raid. We were hanging with TD this weekend. And we had I had a blast talking to TD and Jaspaz from Chain Champs, and Kitty was there too. Shout out to I'm sure they probably advertised it, but Kitty has a drop right now in Chain Champs. If you're into PFPs. Yeah, you can find it just on the where's the drop page? I thought it was on the front page, but now I can't find it. Am I dumb? Isn't it normally on the front page?
You get
see, I'll drop right here.
You
it's
lose.
Right in front of my friggin' face.
Good day, sir.
Yeah, it's $2.20, 44.44 wax, and you get. Let's see if we can go to my wallet. I got a cool one with like the Pixigon logo on it. The Pixie logo. It's sweet cats, and I got the gamer headset. I like this one. The first one I opened was crying. I was like, I gotta get a second one. I don't want my kitty to be crying. Yeah, shouts out.
He was crying about his rarity score, I think.
Exclamation point neon, and this will be for the promo pack from the Sune collection. Also, let me see if I can get the Twitch link, because if you get channel points on Valor and Vellum's stream, you can redeem packs that way. I don't really know how that works. It's pretty cool.
That's really cool. I like that. We should take a page out of her playbook there.
People have so many channel points on our channel, though, because we stream so often.
Do like an auction.
That would be kind of cool. Whoever spends the most gets it.
Whoever spends the most gets the 101.
If they earn 10k channel points, they can redeem, and I have them put their wax ID in the text field. That's cool.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, I guess you can see that if people are doing the redemption, it like gives you notification on your Twitch dashboard, so you can see like who redeemed the points. So that wouldn't be that hard to set up.
Yeah,
this is what we're giving away. This drop is going live on Thursday, and Valor and Vellum's doing her stream on Thursday as well. So if you want a chance to potentially get a free pack through watching her stream, maybe check it out. I don't know if you can get 10k points in one day, to be honest, but you can at least, she might do this again. You can start towards the next one.
Oh yeah. I really like the idea of redeeming one of those watercolors. Those watercolors were some of my favorite of the 2D artworks that he's put out so far.
I guess while we're just shilling random stuff, we can show off. It's almost sold out. We only have like 10 or 15 left, I think, but we do have some stickers for sale on our Shopify. We just did the raffle yesterday, so unfortunately you can no longer get the shiny variant, but we do have some Cut My Life into Pizza stickers. It's $3 per sticker, and we pay for shipping, so $3 including shipping, and we ship internationally. I know some people are worried. They're like, no way, it's only $3 and you'll ship to Europe. Yes, we will ship to Europe for $3. So we also have a couple live dudes left. That one's our last drop. But if you like stickers, real life stickers, we do that. And we have a new one coming out next month for Wash Your Cheeks. And we do have redeemables. We do VRL for 20 people each drop. So if you're interested in the VRL side and you're not interested in the fiat side, you can maybe pick up some blend tokens and then participate in the next one. And that will be this artwork, but a physical sticker of it.
What is the Shopify link again? I think it's just paste that bad boy. Oh, Google told you. Google beat you to it.
Yeah, thanks to everybody who bought them too. People have been very supportive, and we actually got closer to selling out than I thought we would. Like, I was not expecting to even get close to selling out, but first two stickers sold out, and these ones are both under 20 left, so we're doing well. And these are also limited edition. We order 100, and they send us about 110 to 120, and we will not mint more of these. So this is a limited run, and they're all hand signed and hand numbered by the artist Paul. So pretty cool little. It's also, handmade artwork. As far as some of these actually might have been before Paul got his trackpad, but Paul uses a trackpad to draw all this stuff. We're not using AI. This is human-made artwork for humans, and got the human touch. They're hand signed and hand numbered by the artist. So fun stuff.
Yeah, handmade. Oh, thank you, Priscilla. Just got a little notification on here on my phone. New order. Oh, snap.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Scooped 4 of these. Hey, awesome. Yeah, it's so cool to get support people scooping them stickers. We also use all the money we raise from selling stickers to basically re-roll into more physicals for our collectors. It's not like a payday or anything like that. It's just the ability to continue doing VRL stuff.
That's actually a good call. We're about to drop. We were planning on dropping some Neon Space live on Twitch Burn Street drop, but maybe we can allocate some of those
To the Twitch points.
to
channel
redemption points. That would be
Yeah.
a pretty good use for
That
that.
makes sense to me as well. Yeah, that's a good idea.
The only issue with that is there's multiple rarities, so I don't know what we could do there. Maybe we could give away blend tokens, or like, I guess we could do a whitelisted drop. That's what we can do. We can do I don't know. It's still going to be sticky as far as like allocation of the pools goes. Yeah, we could do max redemption 1. The issue I'm thinking of now is that I don't think you can have a drop looking at the same pool as the blend. So we'd have to split the RNG, which we could also do. Just take like, except it doesn't
take
really
some-
work because the shines are now 1 of 1. So which pool would get the shine? But yeah, I don't know. We'll think about it. I'm too sleep deprived to come up with a creative solution right now. But I'm thinking maybe like we can source blend tokens for the people who do the channel points, and we will send you 2 channel points. We'll send you 2 blend tokens if you do the channel points, and then you will be whitelisted to a blend with 1 redemption that is looking at the same pool as the other blend. I think that would be the solution. But also, we would have to source the blend tokens ourselves because we don't mint blend tokens. The only way you can get blend tokens, even our team getting them, is we have to burn shit. So we'd have to source that out of our own funds, which I'm fine doing if Max is down to split it with me.
Yeah, I could do that. If you want to split it or something, I'll be down to do half and half.
Could you not have a
Also,
separate pack for the channel points that sources from the same pool? No, it'd be a blend, not packs would be the issue. But I think I just came up with a solution. So we could have 2 blends, 1 whitelisted for people who do the channel points, and then those wallets we can send 2 blend tokens. So they basically get a free blend.
Yeah, that'd work.
All right,
Need a
let's
little
run it. Are you able to do the 3D stuff from Washington, or do you have to do that before tomorrow?
I'm trying to get that done today.
Okay.
I don't have my computer able to do that out there. Or,
You could always remote in,
try to
right?
get that. I guess I could. Yeah, I could try to remote it. I'd set
That's
up
probably a
remote
huge pain in the ass compared to just doing it today, though. I feel like it shouldn't take that long.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get it done today.
All right, let's run this giveaway. Reminder, this is for the new Valor and Vellum drop this Thursday. And we also encourage you to support the actual drop, especially if you want to get the VRL water paint redeemables. You will need more than 1 NFT for that. So you got to collect 1 of each of the items, and then you can blend it into a mega blend, and then some of those are able to redeem for paintings. Let's go.
Ooh, look at all these jokes. Oh, Valorant gonna take them all out.
Oh,
no.
here comes a huge explosion. Oh, it was brutal.
Savage.
Thanks for hanging, and thanks for joining us, everybody that rated in. Did a real bad introduction. We're in the middle of shilling like 5 projects, but we are Neon Space. We're a collectible brand on Wax. We're artists. We run our own collection. We're also friends. Max, Paul, and I live together. We're the primary art team, and then one of our good friends from high school, Mark, is also on the team, but he's busy opening a pizza restaurant right now, so he's been a little less active in Neon Space.
Yeah, we've known each other for fucking decades, plural.
Yeah, it's been
Wild.
I like lived with you for like a decade.
Yeah, right. I met Mark in middle school too.
Be
He was
Wicked
like in
this
my
one.
class in like 7th grade or something.
Yeah,
I
we're
missed
a collection on Wax. We focus on artwork, but we're also gamers, and we mess around with some other chains. So you'll see us cover other stuff on stream, but at heart, we're a Wax collectible brand, and that's what we focus on for our own project. But we're also general degens, and we like crypto stuff outside of what we do.
Yeah,
so.
big old crypto enthusiasts for damn sure. I would borderline on experts, I would say, at this point. I mean, I got into this stuff so fucking early compared to like even the rest of us who getting into it today. You're still early. I feel like it's such an early days of this kind of technology. But,
All right.
Yeah.
Price
And then
sent.
Tuesdays we go for a little bit of a tech thing, and I feel like should I pivot back into that because I got some interesting shit I wanted to show off today.
Sure.
We did already talk about Wax very recently. Published an article about how you can migrate your collection from Wax to either Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and as of I think today, Polygon and Polygon ZK EVM, which is like a ZK sync. It's a zero knowledge proof private layer 2 of Polygon network. But let me show off my screen here. I have a few things I wanted to share. Yes, let me fix this up. There's some pretty big kind of rumors happening in the crypto space this last week, and I believe they're relatively relevant to what we're talking about or what we do on Wax, because they involve Tether, which is USDT, and Tether is a native token on EOS.io, so it's native to EOS chain. And as far as the stable coins available on Wax, USDT is by a huge margin the deepest liquidity stable coin on this blockchain.
Before we get too deep into tech stuff, I do want to pitch this Thursday. We have Novo Pangea coming on. So if you're more into NFT than the DeFi and FT side of stuff, we have Novo Pangea, which is a game on Wax coming on Thursday, and then on Friday we should have BDAO coming on, and he will be promoting the White Dragon profile picture drop. I think it's like a 1,111 PFPs of kind of like sexy women. I don't know how else to say it, but yeah. So if you're interested in that stuff, maybe consider following us. And then if you get bored from this tech stuff, come back on Thursday or Friday because we will be covering more NFT collectibles and gaming stuff.
Yeah, if the tech stuff isn't your speed, we do a different topic every time we stream, and Tuesdays is like kind of the tech focused day. So you done fucked up joining in today if this isn't your bag.
We'll also probably do another giveaway towards the end of the stream if you want to hang in there.
Yeah, exactly. For people who can tough it out to the end, there's definitely some goodies and tail end stuff. But until then, let's are you ready for let's look at the market really quick first, and then let's look at some news here. So I'm gonna start by looking at like Bitcoin and Ethereum, both kind of very similar. I like to keep an eye on Ethereum because we trade in Wax. Most people, at least who are following our stream right now, are interested in Wax. Wax is like an altcoin, and so while Bitcoin is a nice true north for the entire crypto market, I actually kind of look at Ethereum as like the altcoin North Star here. So looking at Ethereum, I'm looking right now on the weekly chart. You can see the last few weeks have been closing kind of bearishly. This week, it's starting to pump a little bit. It's way too early to call it because you can see here, it's, we got 5 days left before this candle closes. But the outlook on the market had been a little bit bearish. And last week when we looked at it, I also said, I'm expecting the week to continue to push down and eventually retest my strength band here on my indicator. But what's happening here is, we've got a little bit of a pump, but it's still very bearish. You can see also my SRSI here is flipping, where the blue is now leading the orange here. So the momentum of the motion is down, meaning, again, it's still kind of more bearish, although the general trend has flipped bullish a few months back, and we are still staying above the like strength band is what we're calling this guy. And what we're looking for is basically a retest all the way down to the band before a bounce back up to confirm we're staying in this bull trend on the longer term timeline. If we push down to below this on the weekly and start closing below, then I do expect we have room to retest the previous lows of the bear market. likely not making new lower lows, but what I would then be looking for would be a higher low than the previous low before finding support, pushing back up, and then that kind of being our end of the bear market cycle. Right now, a lot of what I'm seeing is like, yeah, the general trend is starting to flip a little bit more bullish, but a big one of my indicators that I like to use a lot here to kind of get a sense of if the trend is reversing is this blue bar down here. This is the on balance volume. In a nutshell, this metric is basically money flowing either into or out of an asset. And you can see during a bull run here, the on balance volume is climbing, making higher highs and higher lows constantly. And during a bear market, like here, we would see the opposite, where like we've topped out here and then low. This next peak here is a lower high, and then moving down, until we actually bottomed out all the way down here. And then we started moving up in on balance volume. And even though we did get that kind of like August, September, sell off and retest back to previous low levels, similar to what I was talking about expecting in the coming months. See, like here's the initial bottom of this first sell off in the previous bear market cycle. Then we did get kind of a flip, and then we got a push back down, and we fell all the way back basically to the same level again before, just slightly higher. So a slightly higher low here before moving up. But while that was happening, you can see the on balance volume was starting to make higher highs, and then this low where we did retest the same low point, higher low as well. So this will give us clarity to be like, okay, this is a great indication that the market is going to reverse. And then from here on forward, higher highs, higher lows exclusively, and we were back in the bull market. Same deal was once we flipped back to the bear, and you can see on balance volume or money leaving this market. And you can see, it was very accelerated early on in the bear cycle here by the big centralized exchange collapses. Like we had FTX collapse, Celsius was a big one that went insolvent, and several other kind of major ones that dumped. But I think FTX and Celsius are kind of the big things that happened right around here. And helped to kind of like drive a bunch of money out of the market. And then since then, you can see, this would have been the previous high on this peak as far as on balance volume peaks go. Then we did get like another peak here, but a lower high, and we continued to push. And you can see here, even though the price didn't actually drop to the same low level it did this first sell-off, the on balance volume is making a lower low still. And now that we're starting to climb back up, still not really seeing, again, this would have been the last peak now, since it failed to make a higher high. So we got a lower high, and now we're looking for another peak. And then if we're looking at this, you can see the price point was about the same and actually a little higher here than it was at this peak where we saw this lower high. And it actually didn't make another, like it's still making a lower high than this previous. So still very much bearish sentiment being pulled from this information for me on the longer term timeline here. And even though the last few months are starting to like look a little bit more bullish, I still haven't seen that like all important higher high, higher low on the on balance volume. So I'm still waiting for that. It's very much in line still with the general trajectory of these bear cycles. So if you look at like the last bear cycle being, about a year to 2 years long, we're still almost a year out from that. We'd basically be right here in that trend if we're going to see the cycle happen again. And so that would, if we're going to cycle exactly the same way, you see that would turn red, retest this low a second time before starting to flip and pushing us into the next bear cycle. That timeline also matches up with the halving event in Bitcoin, where the block reward is reduced by 50%. Since if you're unfamiliar, Bitcoin is mined every 10 minutes, and new Bitcoins are issued into circulation at a predefined understood rate. It started out at 50 Bitcoins every 10 minutes. And then after 3 years, it dropped to 25. 3 years later, 12 and a half. And I think now we're at 6.25 or something every block. And then in, I believe it's April or May, maybe early May at this point, based on the block times and the block height currently. So I'd say probably end of April, early May, 2024 will be the next halving event, which is basically scheduled for a specific block height. So once that block gets mined, that will be the last block that produced 6.25 Bitcoin into circulation. Every subsequent block then will produce only 3 point whatever. And then 3 years later, it gets cut in half again and again and again and again until I believe 2140, all Bitcoins will have been mined. So there's a very long distribution schedule for Bitcoin, but about 90% of the entire circulating supply, or I'm sorry, the entire market, like the entire potential market supply, like the entire total supply has already been issued. And once this new halving event happens, the inflation of Bitcoin, as in new Bitcoin entering the circulating supply markets, will be cut in half. And then the inflation of Bitcoin itself will be really low, like under 1% annually, making, you know, the buy pressure much more efficient at driving the price action upwards. And in the past, these events of the halving have been the catalyst to these bull cycles. So like the halving event kind of like would happen here, happened, I believe, here, and then will happen again around, is this, that'll be around here. Here would be the next halving. So if we're staying in this cycle that we've seen before, we should expect to kind of move sideways or potentially down until that halving event gives us the catalyst and then pushes us up over the next year or so into new all-time highs. Of course, that picture is always changing, so we always check in every Tuesday to take a look at how the markets are moving and see if we're still in line with our projections here. So with all of that said, let's taking a look here. I am seeing the market still selling off a little bit, still kind of like coming down, and I'm still expecting them to, you know, based on the last few weeks, to continue this sell-off. Part of that was also informed by, you know, this week the stock market is closing pretty bearishly, like the SPY, which is the S&P 500. You can see on the weekly, last week's candle pretty bearish, so starting to flip the trend a little bit. QQQ is the Nasdaq. Same deal there. We're starting to get some bearish closes there. We're starting to see the SRSI, so the strength index here, shifting momentum down versus up, and also moving, you know, now moving down from being overbought back into kind of like their normal range. But you can also see the stock market is painting us a different picture. The stock market has made, you know, almost a double top now, where it's almost retraced. This is the Nasdaq index. So this is almost back to where the height was before the market correction and the market collapse. And you can actually see making higher highs on the on-balance volume too. So it's actually possible that the stock market is not looking to continue its bear trend while the crypto market is. And that there could be a decoupling of those assets in the coming you know, months, which is honestly in line with what happened last time as well. So keeping an eye on all this stuff, you know, in the coming weeks is going to be important to kind of like basically to kind of keep track of, are we going to keep Bitcoin closing above, you know, 25,500 or so on the weekly trend, and if we start losing that level, you know, basically be ready to revisit previous lows. Probably not all the way down to 1,600, but probably closer to 2,000 again, or 20,000 again, which would have been like the bottom of this, like rounded off, like basically like moving average, if you will. So looking at these charts, it does look like a little bit bearish still. Go on.
Anders is asking, since you think Bitcoin/Ether will drop/go bears, you think so will Wax? And I'd say pretty much all the altcoins follow Bitcoin and Ethereum, so Wax included. If Bitcoin's dropping, Wax is not going to suddenly moon.
Here we're looking at Wax. Wax is also, you know, Wax has a little bit of a different story when we're looking at the on-balance volume. When I look for that on-balance volume trend, I should caveat that or give a little asterisk. The on-balance volume, you know, making higher highs and higher lows along with the rising price, that really is a strong indication on a mature asset, which is why I look at it on Bitcoin and on Ethereum and actually give it some weight. Same with when I'm looking at like the SPY. Like I am seeing a higher high here. So this is, meaningful to me. Whereas wax is a much less mature market, and so you're going to see a lot, different, more erratic behavior in the on balance volume. But what we have seen with wax is a rising on balance volume with a falling price for quite a while. So here I'm going to go all the way out to kind of like the boom and bust cycle. We're looking at the weekly chart still. What that means, if you're not super familiar with chart reading, is that each one of these candles is 1 week of time. So, when we're looking at this whole chart, this is going all the way back to what was that, June 2021 right here. So before the kind of boom, and you can see, on balance volume rising with price rising. And then as we kind of did our dump here, we did have some money leaving the market, and we did, make a lower low, a lower high again on the retest, and then really big sell off here on this like aggressive push down. But since then, here, so I've just masked the chart off to kind of like right here where that bottom happened on the on-balance volume. Since then, the on-balance volume is climbing while the price is moving down. And that divergence generally indicates, especially in a mature market, indicates an accumulation phase, which is usually when, in Bitcoin terms, for example, that's when miners are building up their position in Bitcoin, not selling as aggressively, kind of keeping a lot of these assets to themselves, waiting for the opportunity to sell them higher. And when this accumulation occurs, you do end up with these big spikes upward in markets. You can see that a lot happening in assets like on the stock market recently. There's been quite a few short squeezes, and you can get ahead of short squeezes by seeing on balance like money moving into the asset before the price actually starts to come up. But that's what we are seeing here. And again, this is a very immature market, and keeping in mind that when we're looking at this chart, we're looking at this chart specifically reported from a single source. So right here, we're looking at KuCoin. We would also need to verify this with other marketplaces. So I can switch to Binance. And here you can see Binance, I'm seeing the same thing. Price moving down, on balance volume climbing. If I change to a different, let's say OKX, same deal. So across the market of the centralized space, we are seeing quite a bit of this. I'm also curious to see Wax. It would be Wax E, and we should be able to see this on Uniswap. So let's see if on chain. So this is on the Ethereum blockchain, Wax E and wrapped Ethereum. And here, this is now the price looks a little different here because this is in terms of Ethereum. And you can see Wax has still been selling off, but even on Uniswap, you can see on balance volume climbing, price falling. This is also a lot cleaner, where our strength band is really acting as resistance, and very easy to kind of see like, okay, yeah, we're in an upward movement, but are we switching bullish? Not until we cross above this strength band line. And you can see we've touched it and we've tested it and been rejected. We've tested it again and been rejected in the last few weeks here. And so, it's going to kind of come back down. Likely it'll cool off on this RSI to a lower, like oversold level again, probably move back down to, 5 cents or so before, trying again. And then what we really need is for a week to close above that strength band to flip that into support from resistance, which that is a very good indicator of a continued push upwards. So we do see a lot of Wax, especially here. If I change to the daily, and let's go not in terms of ETH, because that's a little hard to understand, but if we actually have Wax saved over here. So here we are on the daily chart, and you can see like some of these, big wicks that have pushed up. Like it gives a lot of confidence, or a lot of people see it and they're like, oh yeah, like, we're getting a pump. It's the bulls are back in town kind of a thing. But the big thing to remember is we want to zoom out. We want to keep track of, are these prices, closing above our long-term here resistance and support. And I've actually drawn those resistance and support levels out at this point, probably like a year ago. At least these two red ones, we drew those way back when we were still around 30 or 25 cents. I noted like 8 cents as a target as basically the bottom of the bear market was what I was thinking at the time. And then I said below that we're looking at 4 cents, and it actually did push below 4 cents for a hot minute. Or I guess 5 cents was my below one. But here you can see we've marked out these support resistance lines, and even then, even though we got these big wicks, let's go to the daily chart. Even though we got these big wicks on the daily, we're not closing days above the support here, or what I guess what isn't support yet. It's still resistance. And so what this wick means to, if you're unfamiliar with looking at these charts, what the candle tells us here is that the fat portion of the candle represents the price movement during the trading day between open and close. So, for example, this candle that we're looking at with this huge wick, the candle itself is green, meaning so it's outlined in green because my indicator actually turns them all green as long as the trend is green. If I turn the indicator off, you can see by default each candle is either red or green. If I turn my indicator back on, you can see that red or green is turned into an outline, and I have the entire filled in candle being green or red based on the overall trend, just to make it a little easier to look at. But you can see this one is a green candle. So what that's telling us is that on this day, the price started the day at the base of this candle, at the bottom of this fat part. And by the end of the 24-hour trading cycle, the price was at the top of the fat part. So because the price ended the day above where it started, the candle itself is green. But now this wick, this represents the trading price that happened during the trading day while the candle was open. So while the price started here, throughout this 24 hours, it pushed all the way up to here, then fell all the way back down to here before the day closed. And so that's what we're looking at when you see these candles with these like big wicks. That is what that means. Like the wicks represent the price movement within this trading period, but outside of the open and close range. It goes in both directions, of course. And candles aren't always drawn like this. So you can see up here is the little candle icon on TradingView. This is the default candles, and I recommend using these because they are the most used version of candles. So being able to read these best is going to be the most useful. But you can change the algorithm of these candles. Like I could change it to Heiken Ashi, for example, and it'll actually change the way it draws out based on the new like candle algorithm. That might be getting a little bit too complicated, though. We don't need to get.
Henris was asking basically if you think it'll go below the all-time low, or not the all-time low, but we'll go below 4 cents again if Bitcoin drops. If you have a prediction on that.
Yes, that's definitely an interesting concept, specifically because
it's a good time to say this is not financial advice.
Yeah.
Predictions do not necessarily come true. And although Max is pretty good at predicting stuff, like you can never truly predict the future.
They also change, as the market conditions change. So like what we could predict about what we're looking at today, if tomorrow we get a big close and we start pushing above this, and then it's like, okay, the picture is changing. We need to change our predictions along with it. But with Wax specifically, there used to be basically like a range at which maintaining the Wax network. So if you were a block producer who's actually like pushing blocks to add them to the blockchain, there is a price of Wax where that activity is no longer profitable, and that price was around 4 cents when I did the math back during like the bull market here. And that's why I've set my like lower targets were about 4 cents, where I was like, okay, if we drop below 4 cents, then Wax is actually in trouble because the amount of Wax paid to block producers for block producing won't cover the cost of actually running the block production. Now that model has been adjusted so that when block producers are paid by the Wax blockchain, they are paid in Wax but pegged to a dollar price. So as Wax falls, block producers are actually being paid more Wax to continue to maintain the network. As Wax climbs in value, block producers end up making less Wax, which in turn, as Wax gets more expensive, its supply becomes more deflationary, or the inflation rate drops because the amount of Wax issued to block producers for their activity is cut down based on the value. And so right now, like, yeah, we could see Wax push lower, And it would actually be in the interest of some of the block producers, especially big block producers who can afford to keep operating at basically break even prices, because they would be, able to accumulate a lot more wax for the same activity that later on, when the wax price comes up, will produce much, much less wax. And at the end of the day, it is a business. And so, that's also part of how the mining, cartels or whatever you want to call them within Bitcoin operate, where, Bitcoin miners are the only source of new Bitcoin. Just like, well, that's not quite true for wax, because on wax, we as wax holders can stake our wax and delegate it to the block producers, and we can actually get a cut of that wax block reward that's being issued. Like, that's about 6% or something annually. But in Bitcoin, all new Bitcoin go directly to miners. And so miners tend to drive the price. And it is a bit of a manipulative position to be in, honestly. So it's hard to say if it'll ever fall below 4 cents, because it doesn't anymore mean that it's no longer profitable to act as block producer. So I'm not entirely sure. It's hard to say, but looking at the daily chart here, for example, we are slightly below resistance right now, closing a full day yesterday, and a little bit, like maybe the last 2 days, closing actually below this resistance I had marked out, which is also incidentally lining up directly with that strength band, which is usually my resistance metric when I'm using that indicator. And you can also see that we're basically flatlining on the SRSI. So we are very oversold is what this is suggesting. And we want to push up. And, we want to push up also because look at the unbalanced volume climbing. So meaning that when we do get a push up, we can get, an aggressive breakout, which obviously we've seen happen multiple times in the last few days here. Same with this one here, big old pump up. But the speed at which this price breakout retraced back down is also a good indication that, like, we're not necessarily ready to flip this resistance into support. So the big thing to look for is, are our support lines remaining support, or are they failing and becoming resistance? So right now, like I said, we are closing the last few days below what we had marked out as support. And again, just a really brief way to describe how I'm marking these support lines is I'm taking basically a horizontal line, just a straight line, and placing it on the chart at a place where it is touching the most peaks of candles. So here it's hitting all of these. It's hitting a few here. It's acting then as support here before it got dropped again. Here it's now becoming the bouncing board, so it's hitting a lot of those bases of these. And then if we go back further, you can see similarly here when we were selling off, that this level was like where we found our support and bounced, even if it was just for a day before we continued selling off. And then further back than that still, yoink, back here, similar story. We fell, and then we did start to find support, but lost that. It acted as resistance for a while, and then here when we bounced above it, then or same deal here, sold off. This is where we found support. So finding all of those places where the chart touches this one line horizontally gives us a good indication that the support is around that range. So once we've marked out the support like I have here in red, we now want to make sure that this is staying support, meaning that price is bouncing from here versus prices being rejected and pushed down from here. Now, the fact that we are a little bit oversold means that we are looking to kind of push back up. And what I want to see is days closing obviously above support. And once we do that, we'll be back within this next range here between the last support between the current support and the next resistance. And then what we want to watch for is, a break of the next resistance level, turning that resistance into support, or an SR flip, a support resistance flip. So again, these pictures kind of like develop in real time. So we do kind of keep track of them. And I like to check in every Tuesday on our Tech Talks to take a look at that. I do expect in the coming week, we'll probably see wax come up a little bit, just considering that we've been so oversold. But if we zoom out a little further, let's see how oversold we are. So there's lots of room down on the weekly still. Definitely not super oversold. And if we zoom in on this, you can see the momentum is shifting. The blue is now leading the orange versus the orange leading the blue. When the blue leads the orange, the momentum is moving down. When the orange leads the blue, the momentum is moving up. And so we are kind of looking for it to fall below. And then you can see our strength band is all the way down at 1.7, like a little bit under 2 cents. So it's possible to push all the way down to 2 cents, find support and bounce, and still be on the bullish side of this trend. So absolutely there is room to move down further. I would be surprised to see wax fall to 2 cents. But
Fenris is also asking, do you think an aggressive breakout up is possible while Bitcoin and Ether goes down? I feel like anything is possible,
Yes.
but I don't know if it's likely.
I think it is possible, absolutely, and that has to do with, we're seeing money moving into these assets. We're seeing, especially when, like I said, when the price climbs, the block producers are paid less wax, so less wax is being circulated as well. So there is this like compounding effect of a price breakout. And again, we have seen quite a bit of unbalanced volume activity moving in, meaning money moving into the market, indicating a bit of an accumulation of this. Basically, people holding on to their assets, not selling them, just buying into them and holding them, waiting for this type of a breakout. And so when we do see like a divergence like that, which is a little clearer on the daily chart here, a divergence like that where we see, let's pull a little bit back here. Here's a good indication of that divergence. We're seeing a price climb, very clear upward momentum here, while there's pretty damn clear downward price action. So that divergence basically, because normally what we want to see in a bear trend is, falling price matched with falling on balance volume. And what we are seeing in this bear trend is falling price with climbing on balance volume. And so that is the indication of an accumulation phase, and accumulation phases end with price breakout. So yeah, absolutely, that is absolutely in the stars, and you can see we've gotten a few days that are pretty aggressive breakouts. This is small fry breakouts compared to what you can see when these trends do flip.
How does that compare to Bitcoin though? Because that's what he's asking specifically. If Bitcoin's going down, what's the chance wax moons while Bitcoin's going down?
So yeah, here's like Bitcoin over the same time, right? You got falling on balance volume, or falling price, falling on balance volume. And even though the price trend is a little bit reversed here, the unbalanced volume trend is more or less flat. And so again, I think Bitcoin is still likely to keep moving down, and wax probably moving with the general crypto market, but absolutely having the potential to move on its own and break out, in bursts, basically bursts of price action. Just
can you look at wax versus Bitcoin though? I'm pretty sure wax has been falling in price versus Bitcoin, and very rarely is wax pumping when Bitcoin doesn't.
That is true. So we got here wax, P, and Bitcoin on KuCoin. Let's take a look at that action here. And so here we can actually get a sense of, this is the daily chart now. Each of these candles is a day. And if we go to the weekly, we'll get an even nicer, cleaner look at this. And here you're actually seeing very clean, like you're saying, very much in a bear trend still, very much retesting our support line and getting rejected over and over and over again, getting rejected recently too here. But if we get a little closer, or actually let's take a look at the unbalanced volume here too. This is not as negative as it might seem, because it's generally like a gentle downtrend here, but it's kind of flat while the price is pretty aggressively down. So this is still not really, as bearish as it could be, but also, very clearly bearish. What we're looking for now would be a price of wax breaking out and staying for a full week. So closing a full week above this support, or I guess currently resistance. We want this to become support. And let's go closer here on the daily chart. On the daily chart, we have pushed above that resistance. You can see, look at how long we were below it, very much being rejected. And then the last months or so, what is this? Yeah, July 23rd is about a month. Yeah, a little bit over a month ago. We did start to break out above that. And then you can see once we did, we started moving up. But look at the unbalanced volume here. Like, price is moving pretty positively, but money is leaving the market still. This is still kind of a bearish thing, But now this is kind of interesting, and why I was saying I do feel like, I mean, I was pulling this from the other chart, the dollar chart, but it's very similarly here. We are very clearly approaching resistance. Like we're still above it. We're about to like hit our support, basically, is what we want. Sorry, I called it resistance. It's support on the way down. We're trying to basically find the support and bounce off of it. And it is likely to bounce as our on balance, or as our RSI metric, the strength, the relative strength index, is very much oversold. So there's not a whole lot of momentum left to continue pushing down, and we are right at this support level. So I would expect in the coming days, either we're going to continue like around this range or push up to possibly retest what we had tested previously. So it would be, potentially up here would be the next, like where these peaks happened, and we can actually zoom back, and I'm pretty positive if we add a line here. So the way you can do that is on the right, here's these lines. If you click on those, you can choose different types of lines. Let's grab is it a long position? Where is this lines? Here we go. Line, yoink. Give me just a horizontal line.
We also had another question, but I don't know how long this is going to take to go through this. The next one was basically, what's a reasonable high spot for wax? Do you think we will ever get back to 10 cents?
I gotcha. Okay, let's see. So here, like, look at this. Let me add this line. I'm just going to click here. This is where the day kind of closed. I'm going to go off of the last like fat one here. And I'm pretty sure this is going to track as a resistance or support level previously as well. So let's zoom back. And here you can actually already see that's kind of the case, where here we were finding support. The sell-off slowed down, but clearly we were below it already, and we're getting rejected and then, intensified on the drop. Let's look back even further. Let's see, how far back can we go to see? Oh, this is actually kind of interesting. Look at this. This same level seems to actually have been perfectly our support line. Look at that. It's like, you can't even see it. It's like right on where my index is. There, it's like right here. So it definitely was where we were bouncing for a long time back in 2020. So way back here is this ancient support level there. So that is kind of a long-term like support, or has been support for a while, is currently our resistance level, I believe, because that is where we tried to break up above recently and couldn't. And so what we're looking at is probably a bounce around here to retest this previous level. And if we can retest it and close days above it, then we have our flip, and then we'd be looking to push to the next level up, which will be around here, where you can see, oh yeah, a lot of these candles will be touching if we drew a line right here. So then you just grab a second line, get ready, and then that'll be our range there. So the next question is, will we see 10 cents again? Let's go back to wax in terms of dollars. And you can see
10 cents, or what would be a reasonable high target?
Yeah, a reasonable high target is, so usually what I'm looking for is to basically know that we've made a top, is when we start to, want to see like rising on balance volume, which we are seeing, higher highs and higher lows. When this starts to flip to start making lower highs and lower lows, that is usually my first indication that the trend is flipping. And that's when I'll try to scale out. Generally speaking, these red lines is where I had initially, like I bought at 8 cents when we first dropped to 8 cents. I was like, yep, that's my first target. And then I bought again at like 4.5 or something, because we were hitting kind of like below my next target. That doesn't mean we're not going to fall lower. We could fall lower still, but I'd say there is a bunch right here is a lot of resistance. This was a really important spot to break out of initially. So before the bull run, I'm trying to like zoom in because the chart explodes to like $40 per wax up above here. But here's one of these breakouts. Like, look at this. You can see, on balance volume was starting to climb pretty aggressively here. We were already climbing in price action, but here's one of these breakouts. This is a single day where we went from 20 cents to 50 cents in one day. I do believe this is the day it was added to Binance. If we look back in time around August 24th or so, that probably will be in line with some big like exchange listing, because a huge price pump like that is absolutely affected by new capital entering the market, and new capital comes from new onboarded exchanges like that. So you can see this, when it pumped up that high, it kind of like was staying above here, but then when it fell, it fell right to this line, right? And then here it was riding this line for like a month. And then once we did finally break away from there, we got our huge push up to $1. When we fell, that was our first major point of resistance. This is the first time where, especially when you're looking at my indicator here, where we got the bear print and we had flipped from green to red. This level was the very first time we actually stopped dumping super hard, aside from this kind of hard retest. But even the retest did not make it past what would be our strength band here, which acted as resistance, as it should when we have a bear market trend. So same point here, very, very strong support. It bounced, and then we spent months, I think it is, a couple months above. And even when we retested it, we bounced again, hovered around it, bounced again, hovered around it, and then finally lost that support. Once this level was lost, I'm gonna say the sell-off intensified quite aggressively, and there's not a whole lot of resistance that showed up until we hit this line down here, right? And that's where we are now, looking for yank. So that's not where we are now. So this, and then we fell aggressively. And so what we're looking for is, you could push up. I would say if we push to 30 cents or something, there's going to be a lot of resistance here. For the majority of Wax's lifetime, most people trading it were trading it below this level. And despite the price is crazy high here, and obviously people were trading it here, if you see down below here, these candles indicate the volume. You can see they're not that crazy high, even though the price is crazy high. Look how big they get here. Lots of volume was being traded right around this price point, which is bouncing off of our line here. So right around 30 cents, I would say that's a great, if we're getting close to 30 cents, that's a good point to start taking profit, expecting 30 cents to maybe act as like a local top during a bull run, where if we hit 30 cents, especially if we run up aggressively and get to 30 cents, I'd be looking to sell and buy back on the pushback, because very likely it will push up and then, basically be rejected. And then look at last time we lost this level of the 30 cents level, we free fell effectively to 12 cents. So there's not a whole lot of support between 30 cents and 12 cents. And that's kind of true in both directions. So you see that here. Last time we were hovering around 12 cents. We hovered around there for quite a while. And this was like our range, actually. Look at this. We're bouncing in here. And then when we finally beat this, not a lot of resistance to kind of push to the fucking moon. Once we got back down here, lots of support until we lost it. Nothing. Crickets until we fell to here. So in the same way, on an uptrend, what we want to see again is like, once we start closing above these previous levels here. So if we can get, a close up to like 8-9 cents again, and then, push up, I would say the last kind of line of defense is right around 12 cents. Between 12 and 30, not much. So if we do start to see, Wax approaching 12 cents and continuing in an uptrend, seeing like all these metrics line up, what I want, basically, this is a great indication of, it's like, okay, from 12 to 30, not a whole lot of resistance, and we could see really aggressive movements in that range, like flying from 12 all the way to 30. But absolutely, I would say expect 30 cents to act as resistance. I'm not saying 30 cents is the cap for the top of where Wax can get. If Wax pushes beyond 30 cents again, then you have the same story as we have here. Last time we pushed above 30 cents, boom, straight to the moon because there's no fucking resistance anymore. And similarly, I would say the next level of resistance is going to be near the top of this last push. So if we do push to 30 cents and then turn that into support, meaning we close above 30 cents, as we fall back down, we keep bouncing on the 30 cents line. That would give us the indication that, okay, we actually have room to then run up, and that run would take us, to 85, 90 cents again. Because there's, again, not a whole lot of resistance. Maybe around here, so like 45 cents or something, you'd find a little bit of resistance. You'd get a little bit of a trading range, but yeah, there's not a whole lot of resistance on the way up once we clear out of this 10-cent range or so, 12 cents, I'd say for sure. But I would say look at 30 cents as a pretty good target to take profits, or maybe even slightly below 30 cents. 30 cents has a lot of resistance.
So
I would expect
too long didn't listen is there. We can potentially get back to 10 cents and maybe put sell orders at 29 cents if you want to capitalize on a reasonable high spot target.
Yeah, 25 cents too if you're trying to be careful, or there's no reason to sell the whole lot all at once. You can incrementally place orders up to 30 cents and basically be like, okay, by the time we hit 30 cents, 80% of my wax has been sold. And that way it's likely that we'll push back down, and then I can start buying back lower, and you can trade the range basically as it moves.
Fenris is asking, do you think next bull we get a new all-time high? I feel like that's super hard to predict. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
that's hard
you
to
can
say.
accurately predict if it'll go above 95 cents. We need to break several points of resistance and close above those points to even really say that. And we're so far away from that now, it's really hard to say.
The other side of that, though, is that Wax's market cap isn't absurd. Let's go back to CoinGecko and take a look. If we're looking just at Wax P, the circulating supply right here, what is that? 3 billion, 100,000 million billion, 3.3 billion. It's currently worth $165 million. That is all of the circulating wax currently, which would mean, effectively, if you add $100 million to this, you could see the price triple. So it's probably much more than triple, actually. You'd see the price climb up because it has to do basically with available liquidity. But yeah, there is not 165 million total market cap isn't crazy. When you see even if we just look at cryptocurrencies by market cap, you can see Bitcoin's market cap, Bitcoin's not a fair comparison, but is half a trillion dollars, and we were looking at 164 million. So if we actually scroll down, you could get down to tokens that really aren't that absurdly having large communities, having big activity, and look at their let's see, Kronos, this is crypto.com.
The Shark Tank in me wants to say you can't just show an industry and say this is how much money's in the industry and we're going to take that market share. That's not really how it works, though. So just because there's a lot of money in other coins doesn't mean that money will come to Wax.
No, that's true for sure. It's just it's a decent what else can you compare it to? Where there's quite a few networks here, crypto.com isn't a great example because they have a pretty big real world business to help fund it. But let's see, Synth Network is they do pretty well. But look at a lot of these market caps are, these are hundreds of millions, close to $1 billion. And so Wax is quite far down this list.
I mean, it's definitely possible, but to say it's probable, I think is kind of stretching.
Yeah, it's hard to say it's probable.
I would say right now, Wax is losing value versus Bitcoin, not gaining. So I don't know. It also depends on where Bitcoin hits for the all-time high. You can't really say until it happens.
Exactly. That's
people think Bitcoin will reach a new all-time high for the next halving, but that's just predictions. It's not necessarily I don't know. Trends do exist, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen every time. It could not reach a new all-time high.
That's a big thing about reading the charts in general. It heavily relies on this idea of I can find a pattern and I can look at past performance to predict future performance, but past performance isn't necessarily a metric that indicates future performance. So while it helps, and it's definitely versus comparing it to nothing, it's definitely a starting point. But definitely keep in mind that like because something happened in the past, same with when I was talking about Bitcoin and its cycles of like boom and busts, which line up very closely to the halving events. Because that has happened 3 times in the past doesn't mean it'll happen a 4th time. It's a decent indicator that maybe it might, but we got to keep. That's why I was saying these pictures are changing in real time every day, and so the best way to kind of stay on top of it is to keep track of this. Like check in every Tuesday when we look at this, and
patterns also
how pictures developing.
Like, I feel like they become less reliable the more mature the market becomes. Like it's easier for that stuff to happen when the markets are less mature, and it's already happened a couple times. So I feel like every time it happens, like it might be less of like a crazy spike, but I don't know. It's really hard to say because it also depends on
more than
general population adoption. Like how many more people are going to buy into crypto this next bull run than they did the last one, and like that's something you can't necessarily predict.
Crypto, how are they going to wax? And then that I think wax really has, it's rooted a lot in the projects that are launched on wax. So like I love collecting my Funkos on wax, but if like Magic the Gathering or something like that started doing like their cards on wax, that on its own would be enough to drive wax into new all-time highs, I would say. And other blockchains don't necessarily have that aspect to them where it's like, oh, this is more or less a centralized place for gaming and for onboarding of like major IPs. And if a major IP is successfully onboarded and using this technology, then yeah, the wax token will absolutely benefit from that, as the wax token is like the ecosystem token, and the value of the
That's
ecosystem
just something that's very hard to predict. That's not like a super
very hard to predict. Exactly. So
I don't know. Do you have like a? Do you think if it goes above $1, what would be the next resistance for like potential all-time high? I guess is like
you can't chart any resistance levels once it's all-time high. There's no basis to go off of, which is why some of these short squeezes, like recently I was trading Tupperware, and like if you look at stocks and we look at Tup, still have a few like shares of this. Like this one's great because like here you can see like our on balance volume started to climb. I was getting my bull print, and then look at it, we jumped from 60 cents to $5 now. And that's in the course of like a month. But it's easy to see that like, okay, we ran into resistance here because look at this. All of these candles are right around this resistance. So this is like a nice place where it's like, cool, first limit of taking profit here. And just like with the wax, look, we basically free fell down to here without much support. We did have a bit of a resistance here, but we blew the fuck through that. Like, and a lot of that also has to do with there's institutional money is short sold these equity shares, and when they're short sold, they've basically borrowed shares and they need to buy those shares back by a specific date, to cover option positions, or they need to pay interest to roll over those positions. And the longer that they keep these borrows open, the more the interest they pay, and the more their like position becomes less profitable. And so we know that there is big money that is looking to buy shares because they need to cover their short positions. That kind of stuff doesn't really exist in wax, definitely, but in the greater crypto space, there's not a whole lot of institutional short selling happening. A lot of it is more like mining industry manipulations, an ugly word, but it has to do a lot with that. But yeah, it's hard to predict. And once we get above our all-time high, it's almost impossible to say where it goes from there, because at that point there is no more resistance. And you basically, if everybody is like, oh shit, this is mooning, I'm gonna wait and see where it goes, it can go like 1,000x, and things do that, like they kind of trickle up, they get to their all-time high, and then boom, it's fucking rocket ship to the moon. And yeah, so keeping all that kind of stuff in mind, I think the best approach is always to keep your eye a little bit closer to the now, and like keep watching these markets develop as they change.
I do think there's definitely a possibility though, but like it's largely dependent on what Bitcoin's doing. But like, I don't know, we have a long way to go before we start saying like trying to call new tops, which is why it's hard to say now. Like we need to hit several stages of resistance and close above them before you can even be like, okay, that's like could happen.
I'd say let's close, if we can close above 12 cents, which is like our here, this, if we can push up here, then it's time to like get your moon boots ready, you know, and be like, okay, we're starting to get to a point where like there is very little resistance between here and a huge run up. Right now, you know, we've been ranging here for like a year. There's lots of like points here that have got some resistance. Lots of trading has been happening. So, you know, let's kind of keep our eye on this rather than try to buy the very bottom and sell the very top. That's like not realistic, a realistic strategy. I mean, people
Got a
can
meme for
do
us
it,
real
but-
quick.
Say
Check out
again?
my audio meme. I said I have a meme for us.
Hit it.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
Yeah,
There we go.
that's good. All right, let me add that drink. But yeah, so in the short term right now, short term being, you know, from this week to the next week, maybe 2 weeks out, it does look like we are on the oversold end on the daily. We're right around like a little bit below support on the dollar chart. But again, if we were looking at wax in terms of Bitcoin, so we did wax P Bitcoin, you can see that's actually right around support too, and also oversold. So we are kind of looking for a bounce right now. And again, that bounce is likely going to run out of steam again around our resistance level up here, which I do believe is 8 cents at the moment. Yeah, right around 8 cents. So we are looking for kind of the range between here up to 8 cents is kind of what I'm looking at for the next couple weeks. If we do lose this support, then again, I would say we have room down to 4.3 or so before I would say we'll probably find some support here. But yeah, right now we are kind of at a decent support level. It does look like we're a little bit below it on the dollar chart, but I think also referencing the Bitcoin chart will help there. Plus our sentiment shouldn't be all bearish because we do have that rising on balance volume. We do have that oversold RSI. So a lot of, you know, a lot of things lining up for a pull back up here in the coming few days at the very least. And then if we look at you know, the weekly longer time frame again, there is absolutely room down still. An ass load of support right around 4.2 4.3 cents, which is pretty much where we've been bouncing to this day every time. And if that gets lost, you know, there's also a good chance that you can get aggressive drops. Like once you lose the last like remaining line of defense, then there's not a whole lot of support immediately until you probably get down to like the strength band, which is like 2 cents, 1.5 cents. Again, I don't think it's super likely. I'd be excited to buy wax for 1.5 cents, honestly, but I'm not super bearish on this in the short term. I would say in the next week or so, I'm expecting to see either a little bit of a slow crawl back up or at least something to cool off our RSI here. I'd like to see, you know, at the very least, this comes back to like here. We'll probably see at least it come back to 5.25 cents or something at least. I expect, but let's see. There is also some news.
Shankar has a question real quick. He says, what do you think about swapping wax for Matic or another coin with a bigger market cap at this moment, for example? And I'll tell you my uneducated opinion first. Well, I'm moderately educated, but I would say it's never a bad idea to diversify as far as like if you're only holding wax, it's not the best idea to only just put all in on one token. And it's not a bad idea to buy a couple blue chip tokens, but at the same time, you don't want to over diversify and spread yourself too thin. So it's like, I don't know. It goes both ways. You don't want to buy every altcoin there is, but I feel like it's never bad to like hold a little bit of Bitcoin, hold a little bit of Ether, and I put Matic up there with like in the same place as Ether and Bitcoin as far as like they definitely have a future. They have institutional money and partnerships, like similar to Wax. They have a lot of very big institutional partnerships with Matic, so it's a pretty safe bet.
Disney's on Matic these days, like they're building stuff on there. So I agree. I think basically what Lewis said. I don't think diversifying is a bad move, especially diversifying from kind of a fringe altcoin into a blue chip cryptocurrency. And blue chip cryptos are, like Lewis said, I'd say like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Matic is definitely one of them. I still really like Atom. I mean, I don't honestly hold enough for how much I like it, but it is the Cosmos token. It's what like Binance Smart Chain is, or like Binance Chain, like the Binance Swap stuff is built on top of that. It's like a, if you know about on Wax, you know how we have like EOSIO, and within EOSIO you have stuff like the IBC, the inner blockchain bridge, where you can move really easily between Wax and Telos and what is it, Proton Network and EOS mainnet. Is very simple to move between them because of the infrastructure they're built on, which is EOSIO. Atom represents the infrastructure that some pretty major projects are built on top of, like I think Binance Swap, like Kava, like these are huge things, and these are different blockchains that interoperable through what's called the IBC there, which I think is the same name as it is on Wax now, but the IBC has been built probably like 3 or 4 years ago already there, and there is this whole the way that inner blockchain environment works is that you can actually deploy zones and then bridge between the zones. And in the future, what you could see is somebody like Fidelity or like a stock market or like a legacy finance system building a zone that is built into the Cosmos ecosystem, and then making it very simple to move between blockchains and legacy finance. And all of that type of inner blockchain operability costs small amounts of fees, and those fees are paid in Atom token. And as this inner blockchain kind of like infrastructure gets more traction, those Atom tokens will earn more and more of that yield based on that volume of transactions moving across blockchains. And like the Wax article we read at the top of this stream, the future is very cross-chain or multi-chain. It's not going to necessarily be one blockchain that wins this out. So moving between them freely is technology that's worthwhile, and in my opinion is relatively blue chip.
The other
other
thing about blue chip tokens I'd say though is like they're just less volatile in general. So like Bitcoin's probably not going to 10x anytime soon. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Wax could 10x from where it is, but Bitcoin's probably also not going to be half price tomorrow, and Wax could much faster go to half off, I would say. So like either bigger upside and bigger downside for the altcoins. So that's kind of why the blue chip stuff is just more stable. That's why it's kind of nice to have a little bit of both, in my opinion. So you're not like overextended into super volatile tokens, and you keep some stuff in the more stable stuff. But yeah, that's sort of up to your own discretion how much you want to put into each. But I don't think it's a bad idea to swap into Matic specifically. I also like Matic. Like I'm actually doing some stuff over on. Like I have
I said earlier, I moved a decent amount of my. So this is actually going to tie really well into what I was about to talk about. The other kind of big news in the crypto space. It's more of a rumor at the moment, but it's rumor from credible sources. But I moved a good amount of like USDT tokens off of Ethereum and over into the what is it? Crypto.com. Coinbase. Coinbase is launching their own blockchain. It goes live tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 9th. Yeah, it goes live tomorrow. And so I moved quite a bit of my crypto into that, and I could show you really quick. Like,
I feel like also just to preface this by last week when we went over this, every single thing launched on the blockchain was a scam and scam people. So be very careful if you want to enter this. Where there are great opportunities, there are also great risks. And if you don't know what you're doing, Max has been doing this for a long time, and he even still can't avoid all of it. So be very careful if you're trying to jump into these brand new things that are kind of sketchy.
Yeah, so here you see like about 10 days ago, the bridge opened initially. Looks like, what is that? $41 million flooded in and immediately got rug pulled. It's down to 8 million again. So yeah, almost everything that launched on like the day zero when the chain like first opened, it was all trash, scams, whatever. Last week, I think when I talked about this, I mentioned there was an exchange called Base Swap that at the time had launched like the day before. I think it launched on Monday, and we talked about it on Tuesday. Actually, might have launched that same morning when I was pointing at it. And I said, I know this dev team. Like I've participated. Like they're not new to crypto. They've deployed decentralized markets before. They have a successful multi-million-dollar DEX on Arbitrum layer 2, and they're good at building like quality tech. And I was like, this is a marketplace I believe is going to be worthwhile participation. And now if we look here, this is Base Swap. It's currently more than 50% of the TVL of the entire blockchain. So, I mean, here, we talked about this last week. It's up
Is SushiSwap
3,000%
also
since then.
on base chain now?
SushiSwap, Uniswap just launched. So I think Uniswap is gonna be
SushiSwap's got
gaining
a crazy
momentum.
amount of chains on it.
Cute. Yeah, here, SushiSwap is on all of these different chains. Arbitrum, Ethereum, Polygon, Optimism, Binance Smart Chain, Arbitrum Nova, that's a roll-up of Arbitrum, or not even, that's a parallel to Arbitrum. Genos, Avalanche, Phantom, Polygon ZK EVM, that's the Polygon private roll-up. Fuse, Moonriver, Moonbeam, it runs on all of these. So yeah, SushiSwap, 15 different chains. So Base Swap was the one where I was like, they're launching a native token base, and look at, like, I mean, it did incredibly well. I think on that day when I got into it was 90 cents for their token. The token is currently like $6 or something. But here's something that I did. I guess I could show you really quick what this is. What I did with the USDT that I moved over from Wax. I bridged over to Ethereum mainnet, as you do with Wax USDT. And then I was able to bridge I swapped the USDT into ETH, and I bridged the Ethereum through the developer bridge into the base blockchain because, like I said, it's not open to the public yet. It opens tomorrow. And then what I did was, let's go back to chains. I took the ETH and I swapped it back to stablecoins because that was a stablecoin position to begin with, and I wanted to remain stable. But what I've done with it so far is, let's see, I need to open a couple of these. Beefy Finance, and then the other one is a money market. Swirl Lend, this guy. So here's what I've done with my stable coins. We'll go to the website of this, and then we'll go to the Beefy Finance website. This is Base Swap, and then this is Beefy Finance. Let's do website of this. And I can show you what I did. So what I did once I got in here, I went to Base Swap. Let's see if we can get this to load. I don't know. It's being kind of difficult right now. Well, maybe I can't. But I went to Beefy Finance is the aggregator for this. Let's connect my connect my MetaMask wallet to this. Got it. And let's connect just a hot wallet for now. This is a yield aggregator. And let's go to vaults. And I want to see all vaults. I want to filter this by blockchains. Like chains. Let's go to base. There's that. And then the other thing I opened was Swill Finance. Let's turn this to dark mode. Okay, this is a money market. And let's change this to base chain as well. This is a money market. Okay, so what I've done here is I took my stable coins in this base swap, which for whatever reason isn't loading for me right now. Okay, there it is. Finally, connect wallet. To connect here as well. Not my ledger, but just my hot wallet.
I do think
Okay.
if we can get through this quickly, we should go to Wax DeFi soon. We've been streaming for like over 2 hours.
Okay, yeah. I guess a really quick overview of what I did. I turned this money into stable coins. On this blockchain, there is liquidity pools that you can farm. One of them is DAI USDC. These are two stable coins. It pays 21% APR for liquidity. There's already $4 million in this. Like when I did this, this was like less than $500,000. And this was also like over 100%. But so what I did was I took my stable coins, I turned them into USDC and DAI. I deposited USDC and DAI into this money market. I did, I think I did, what was it? $600 into each. So it was $600 USDC, $600 into DAI. For depositing it in here, I earn 17% directly on my USDC, 6% directly on my DAI, as well as 316% and 150% paid in this SW whatever token that this protocol issues. So that's just for supplying the asset. Or wait, let's see. Oh, here's the supply. So I'm earning 12% on my, and then 128% on my in this token versus 5% and 250% on this. So that's on the $600 each. Then I borrowed $400 of each of those. So then for the $400 borrow, I now have to pay 14% and 6%, but I'm being paid 150% and 316% for borrowing those assets. Then I took the borrowed assets, I brought them over to this pool, I put them into this liquidity pool, and then I took that liquidity pool, brought it over to Beefy Finance, and then here you can see this is the USDC DAI pool on base swap. I deposited here. You can deposit the liquidity directly, and then what this does is every let's see, it doesn't tell you until you're actually, oh, here you go, about an hour ago. So as depending on how big this pool is, every so often, maybe every hour or so, it will come and it will automatically claim the rewards that it's being paid here and turn those into more stable coins and keep farming them. So it automatically is compounding. And rather than sitting here earning this B swap token, I'm just earning so
automatically swaps the reward token into more stablecoins.
Into more stablecoin, and then automatically deposits that into my liquidity to compound it for the next hour, and then an hour later it'll keep doing that. So automatically compounding. So then the stablecoin pool is now earning 21%, while the stablecoins in the pool are earning like some absurd, I think it's something like 300 net percentage from being borrowed here. So by moving them off of Wax, there is these opportunities to like create relatively complicated positions that have pretty low risk as far as liquidation or as far as price movement goes, because all of this is just stable.
Are these bridge tokens or are these on Ether mainnet tokens?
These two are now Ethereum mainnet tokens bridged into the base chain. So through
the
base
custodial
chain
bridge though, so there's somebody managing.
It's a optimism style bridge. So it's like if you want to take them back out to ETH mainnet, it takes 7 days, and there is there's like a human element. Like you can't just get the keys and rip all the money out.
You can't decentralize exploit it, but there still is the opportunity for exploits.
There's basically like if there is an exploit, there's 7 days for anybody to challenge it and be like, this is an exploit, and then it'll cancel that. So it's
I'm just gonna throw it out here. If you want to learn more about this stuff, I just posted a link to our Discord. If I'm being honest, I feel like most Wax users are probably not going to be using developer bridges to loan and borrow their own tokens to leverage into lending markets. But if that is something you're interested in, Max will talk about it until he has no breath left. Hit us up in Discord, and we're happy to walk you through it in Discord. But I think most of our audience is probably more interested in Wax stuff. Let me do a Grubfish real quick, and then if you want to set up your Wax DeFi positions while I do Grubfish, we will get into. We do 100 Wax investment where we start with 100 Wax, then each week Max moves the Wax around to try to earn more Wax. But let's do a Grubfish real quick just as a palate cleanser. Exclamation point neon if you'd like to join this giveaway.
It's a good thing Lewis is here to keep me on track, because I would literally go hours about this kind of stuff. This is also what that strategy I just showed you that's making me like probably like 300% on my stable coins. That's really simple compared to some of the other shit that I do. You can get
that's
so
what
much
Max
more.
considers simple. Most people have probably lost it. You have to use a developer bridge because it's not publicly available yet.
It's that's a pretty straightforward one, honestly. It gets insanely complicated. You can create your own derivatives on the blockchain. Like you can write your own option contracts.
We're gonna give away a Tea Party promo pack from the Sune figure collection. The drop for this is on Thursday, and Priscilla will also be doing a stream on Valor and Vellum, twitch.tv/Valor and Vellum. $2 for packs. You get 2 characters for packs, and if you get enough of the characters, you can blend into a full Tea Party scene, and the highest rarity of the Tea Party scene comes with a VRL redeemable of her actual watercolor painting, which we think is super cool. So if you're interested in physical collectibles and also digital collectibles, Sune is one of the best collections on Wax for that. So definitely check it out.
For sure.
Link to the drop. Let's see. Exclamation point Neon if you want to join. Also, we've been talking about Beyond Meat in the Discord chat, so I kind of want to play this ridiculous video of like the future of meat. I guess, Max, would you eat Beyond chicken nuggets? I think it was like fried chicken.
Hell yeah. I like all that kind of plant-based stuff. Usually it tastes pretty good.
This is what sparked the conversation, which honestly, I think Prince X Phoenix was just trying to show the soy face, not the Beyond fried chicken, but snowballed into would you eat that? Yamster's like not into it. But then I was saying like 3D printed meat is like, if we can print fried chicken in our kitchen and buy the ingredients and like stays fresh with the ingredients longer, like that's the future. Shit, I think I muted this because I didn't want it to play while we were...
That looks...
Computer. A juicy, sizzling steak made by computer.
Isn't that wild?
While obtaining regular meat is a process that's been taking place for millennia, cow, butcher, beef, Redefined Meat, a meat alternative startup out of Israel, makes their product using a highly technical process. The mix of soy and pea protein, chickpeas, beetroot, nutritional yeast, and coconut fat is formed into steak-like shapes using a 3D printer.
Our goal is to become the largest meat company in the world just by harnessing technology instead of animals.
Meat substitutes are not new, but
animals.
unlike the soy-based crumbles that mimic ground beef, Redefined Meat's product is designed to act, taste, and cut like flank steak.
This is the holy grail of alternative meat.
But the most important part, how does it taste? This diner was happy.
The texture feels right. Even the smell smells like the real thing. Really authentic. For me, it's revolutionary.
This is Inside Edition Digital.
All right.
Ferris Butcher's not into it. I would try that. I think it's fascinating to me that they can do that with plant matter entirely.
Last call for exclamation point Neon. We're going to do the Scrubfish giveaway, and then we're going to get into our 100 Wax investment series where we show off some Wax DeFi positions. And based on the market analysis Max just did, he will adjust the positions accordingly.
Oh, yeah. There is one quick news thing I wanted to poke at just because it involves Tether. And it's
somebody actually, when you're talking about, somebody was talking about rumors, they said something about, I think it's Fenris was asking about, while you mentioned stablecoins, have you heard PayPal is launching a stable? I wonder what your thoughts about that. I don't know. I wasn't aware of that.
I've been tracking that for a long time. So there's a DeFi protocol called Origin that is founded by one of the Tether co-founders, and they maintain a stablecoin called OUSD. And I was like 90% sure almost a year ago that PayPal would offer people OUSD directly in their app. I figured there would be some kind of connection between Origin protocol and PayPal in the future. And Origin Dollar is like an elastic contract token where if you have, let's say, 100 of them in your wallet, every day at a specific time, there's a rebalance of the yield that is being earned by the counterpart to the stablecoin, and it is redistributed into the token. So like if you have 100 of them and you check back like a week later, you might have like 110 cents, but you won't have any deposit history. Your wallet won't have been given 10 cents. It's that the 100 units will have grown it within your wallet without deposit transactions. It's called
Did PayPal announced they're using that? Are we gonna get to that?
They have not announced they're using it. This is me speculating because of the people involved behind the scenes.
But did you hear about the rumors of? Is that the rumor? The same rumor? I'm trying to connect.
I have heard like several rumors that PayPal is going to be offering like an exchange or access to crypto trading directly within PayPal apps, and then part of me expects there to be like you can hold your PayPal balance in stablecoin versus in like a bank version of whatever they're currently offering. And the reason why you would want to do that is because a coin like OUSD grows over time on its own. So if you keep your PayPal balance in OUSD, every day it'll increase slightly, and it increases based on yield that's being farmed on stablecoin pools like Curve. It's basically like the vanguard of a equivalent of like a crypto protocol.
Let me read this
Really
real quick.
fun.
I'm not even sure if that's the same thing that this person's talking about, though. I'm trying to get to his question. PayPal says PayPal is launching a stablecoin that's more glitz than substance. Then PayPal's new stablecoin, PayPal USD or PYUSD. So this has nothing to do with what you were just talking about.
They're their own one. Oh, they're not doing the origin stuff.
I was like, what are you ranting about this coin that has nothing to do with stablecoin with PayPal? So I will say Max and I know nothing about this stablecoin if Max didn't know it was happening and I didn't know it was happening. The payments
heard about
giants
that. Cool.
announced on Monday, August 7th, that was yesterday, is launching a stablecoin.
Hey, that's pretty big news too. PayPal is a huge settlement service.
It says PayPal's offloading all of its risks to Paxos.
So Paxos is they issue PUSD and BUSD, and also Pax Gold. So Paxos has been around in the stable asset industry for 3 or 4 years now, easily.
I guess let's say we'll cover that on next week. We've been going for 2.5 hours and we didn't research it at all. So maybe Max will look into it and we will get back to you with our opinions on the PayPal stablecoin next Tuesday.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right,
though.
let's run this.
Legitimate players getting into the space.
I think that's good news, though. Like the more mainstream adoption of crypto in any fashion, if you can use PayPal, and people understand what stablecoins are because of PayPal, that's just good for the adoption of crypto. That's my, without doing any research opinion on it, is it's just good to see major companies adopting crypto.
Yeah, I do have mixed feelings about PayPal's like business model, but it's definitely not a bad thing to see them getting into crypto.
I don't necessarily think I'll hold the coin, but not a bad thing to just have it out there.
For the longest time, I also missed the news that like you can withdraw your crypto from Robinhood. Like for the longest time, I thought crypto trading on Robinhood was like locked in your Robinhood app.
It was at one point.
It was for a long time, but yeah, you can withdraw it now. I did that the other day. It's pretty fucking cheap. Now, if they just add wax, it would be fucking golden because there's no trading fees on Robinhood at all.
Same with Uphold. I haven't been talking about it a ton, but Uphold's kind of incredible for, like, I tried to do a trade on Gemini that would have cost me $30 and it cost me $0 to do it on friggin' Uphold. The only Uphold's interface is kind of whack. Like, you can't see the markets, you can't see the limit orders and how much money is sitting there. So, like, it's hard to make judgments for where you should list your stuff because you don't know where, like, the resistances are. But as far as, like, just being a one-stop shop and convenience, Uphold's pretty good. It's just, I don't know how much liquidity is on the books. If you're trying to do, like, a $50,000 trade, that might just not be possible on Uphold for stablecoin liquidity.
Yeah, even a couple of $1,000s has taken like a long time after the price hit where I set my limit. It didn't fill for like a long time after that. Which
congrats to Twelter. Twelter, we're going to send you a Tea Party promo pack. If you missed it, this is for the Sune drop that is happening this Thursday. And also Priscilla will be streaming on Thursday, and you can trade channel points for packs. So if anybody is a current viewer or wants to start earning points, you should go check out her stream on Thursday. She'll also be streaming maybe like an hour or two before us. So who knows? Maybe she'll raid into us talking with Novo Pangea, because we will be talking to Novo Pangea on Thursday. They also just announced, I'm sure we'll learn about it on Thursday, but they're adding creatures to their game, and I don't know how that works. So there's news and an update to Novo Pangea.
I love that kind of stuff.
All right. Let's switch over to 100 Wax investment.
Yeah, before I dive into the 100 Wax, I just wanted to go over this really quick here. This is a big catalyst of why I was moving my tether. So, quick look at Adam Koshran. This person does really good due diligence, so I really like when he posts his stuff. But he's putting out a rumor that Huobi is a big exchange based out of Korea, I believe, is potentially insolvent. So Binance started selling off its USDT in bulk. They found out that Huobi execs and Tron personnel questioned by police. This is not long after Sun. That's Jason Sun, who is the like owner of Huobi. He owns Poloniex. He's the guy who founded the Tron chain. But he just launched this STUSDT launch, which you can stake your USDT and get STUSDT, which he claims he uses the USDT to redeem it into bonds, and then you earn like the bond yield on the STUSDT. Weird balance shifts in Huobi in the last month. So here's like you can see huge sell-off, outflow of money from Huobi, just like with FTT and Binance, or just like with FTT, which is the FTX token, which was kind of like the lead into the news of FTX collapsing. Binance is often the first to know about risky assets since they are, the industry leader, and at the scale of their connections are pretty much everywhere. And we look at the timestamp from Friday's rapid sell-off of USDT. It's after the time that Huobi employees have been questioned. So Binance found something out and started dumping USDT. Again, this is all relatively recent too. Here's that same chart a second time. Let's take a look here. After Sun launched STUSD, which is USDT, he claims is sitting government. Okay, I could have just waited till that point. 4.6, but his website claims that there's 351,000 stakers. But, and then you see, Tron's own chain only shows that 98% of the token is held by Sun or Huobi directly. And when you stake USDT into USDT, it's supposed to be swept, or it gets swept into a Huobi deposit address. There is no on-chain indication that it's being turned into bonds. If SC was real, we'd expect to see $500 million of redemptions, which we're not. So redemptions don't exist. The Mint proxy sends to the main address. Here's the verification of what he's claiming is true, in which in turn sends to other addresses, which are all either Sun, Huobi, or Sun's Binance address. So basically, he's funneling user money directly into his own private addresses and doing what the fuck ever with it. Which again, that's what SBF was doing with the FTX depositors' money right before they all collapsed. More importantly, Tron, it seems to go to Justin Sun's own DeFi positions, like Just Lend, which is a money market on Tron. This means that USDT and USDC combined, means across USDT and USDC combined, Huobi only holds $90 million of assets. But Huobi's own Merkle Tree audit still lists that Huobi's users have $630 million of USDT held in the wallet's balance, and the wallet's balance of $631 million. Of course, they stopped updating those updates last month. Yeah, this is basically, this kind of due diligence goes on a little bit further. Let's see if I pull up the last parts of it. Let's see, here we go. Rest of Sun, it says they think they have a balance of 631 million in Huobi, but there's only 90 million on there, which we can see on chain. It's a nice part about crypto. It's very easy to verify all this shit for yourself. The rest is Justin Sun is using to prop up his other DeFi apps and paying a yield to get it users to deposit into Huobi. So very similar to what FTX was doing. But it's not just that. All the ETH is also missing. Sun has turned all the ETH into STETH, all of it. STETH is Lido protocol staked Ethereum. Users think that they hold 141,000 ETH on Huobi, and instead Sun holds about half of that total balance as STETH. Oof, not a good look, Sun. Let's pull up the last. There's two left of these. Almost through this one. So I don't think Binance is selling their tether, I don't think Binance is selling their tether. They want to topple USDT to push stables they can control and gain form. They realize that Sun doesn't have the USDT that he claims to have, and if users find out, they might mass dump to escape the exchange. Even when you add up the money that Sun has funneled from Huobi into his DeFi apps, he only seems to have about half of the total obligation to Huobi depositors. The only assets they're really healthy in is Bitcoin. Just like he did with Poloniex, which is another centralized exchange, Sun has been using Huobi as a personal piggy bank to earn from user deposits and can't honor the balances of on Ethereum or USDT if users were to try to withdraw in bulk. So that, let's see, there's one last frame of this, the 16th picture. Here it is. 16th. It's already confirmed to me directly by a senior executive from the Tron team. And they confirmed the team members were under investigation due to actions. And then this I thought was really funny. Hubi responds, "Thanks for the update. I believe there needs to be more investigations into the information." And then he's just like, "The sources have verified as senior executives at Tron firsthand knowledge of the investigation and has been Tron for many years. Whether you've been informed or not, your colleagues are currently under criminal investigation." He's kind of got her pegged there, or whoever this Hubi support person is. But yeah, basically what he's saying is that there is quite a bit of on-chain evidence of shenanigans over at the Hubi exchange that very deeply intertwine with Tether, and Binance seems to be kind of like taking note of this. And what Binance is potentially going to try to do is depeg Tether to, you know, destabilize the Tether economy and make people use stable coins that Binance holds, such as BUSD. So I dumped a lot of my Tether and I metered a lot of my exposure to Tether pools. And you can actually see, if you're looking at like Curve and stuff, the composition of liquidity pools on the blockchain are getting much more flush with Tether as people are swapping Tether into other stable coins. So be aware of that. Tether is absolutely the main stable coin on ETH, and I'm sorry, the main stable coin on EOS, and so by extension on Wax. And while there isn't really a crazy deep liquidity market for stablecoins on Wax, I don't think a stablecoin collapse of Tether would really affect a lot of what's going on Wax. It's definitely Tether is like a top 3, if not a top 2 stablecoin asset in the entire DeFi economy. And if it collapses, thanks to, you know, Binance pushing it down, even it would be potentially a short-term collapse. But if it loses peg, that would 100% ripple through the entire crypto market, and we would all be affected by that. So be aware that that's ongoing. I just wanted to share that news. But let's get back into something less doom and gloom. Let's take a look at how we've done with our 100 Wax from last week. So starting out this week, I'm going to look on to Taco Swap. Last week, we joined into a Taco Swap pool that was paying pretty ridiculous yield. We did 40 Wax into this pool bilaterally, so 20 Wax on both sides. And it still seems to be paying 650% APR. Let's take a quick look at how this token has done. The token name was B. I did zero research into this, so I expect it with such a high yield to be falling. I just hope we can outpace the fall. So it's been 1 week, and it would be in terms of Wax. 1 week, yeah, 40% down. Not ideal. So even though we are earning 650%, that's not going to be enough to keep up with the deflation. Let's see how we've done. 40 Wax is what we started with. So if I click on liquidity up here, here's my B Wax. 16 is what we have left. So bilaterally, what is that? That'd be 32 Wax bilaterally. So we've effectively lost 8 Wax there from our 40, which is 20%. Much less bad than just holding B token, which is down 41%. But we've also been earning yield. So let's take a look at how much we've earned in that same price. I'm going up here to account and rewards, and we've earned 6 B tokens over the week. So let's claim both of these, and let's swap our B tokens into Wax. Actually, I'll swap both B and Wombat into Wax for now. I like the Wombat stuff, but I feel like we're exposed enough to it, and Wombat has also been like a bit of a sell-off this week, I believe. Let's take a look at Wombat, because we also had, I think, close to 100 on Wombat. Okay, we're still basically flat on Wombat. We had 100, so 50 on both sides. We're still basically at 50. And then let's see how we've done. Actually, we might actually be in profit on Wombat. If I take a look here, we'll do Wombat first. This is what we earned in 1 week from Wombat. Liquidity pool, we've earned 1.5. So that is going to push us back, I believe. Yeah, if we add 1.5 to this, we'll be slightly over 100. So we are actually in a net positive on our Wombat position. Although I like the 100, let's keep this one where it is. So let's swap the Wombat into Wax and then do something else with the Wax. We'll keep the Wombat pool unaffected, though. We're not going to sell out of Wombat Wax. And then next, I want to see how are we doing with the B token. But first, let me do this swap. Actually, this is a good moment to pull up Wax on Edge. So my Wombat pool, I'm going to get 1.5024 if I do this trade directly on Taco Swap. Our friend Wapaka has built a tool for Wax called Wax on Edge app. If we sign into this, you can come up here. I'm already signed into my wallet, but we can come here to swap, and then we can. It's basically a swap aggregator that will look at every exchange, not just Taco. And so here it's showing me 1.5024, exactly the same price. And it's probably, it's because it's just doing exactly what we were doing a second ago. It's going Wombat to Wax on Taco Swap. So let's do that. We'll swap that. There's no reason to do this on Taco Swap if we're already on DeFi Edge, because it's literally doing the exact same thing. Taco Swap still gets the fees for this. It's still like down here, it breaks down what it's paying, what we're paying fees for, and you can see the platform fee, which this is the fee that is being charged by Wax on Edge, is free. But here you can also actually see this is the 4-hour chart. We did have a pretty aggressive sell-off, and then it's come back up quite a bit again too. So that's why our price is more or less flat. That's okay. Let's keep riding this one. We jumped into this last week when this price seemed to have like bottomed out a bit and had found a good amount of support here. That support clearly like failed and got pushed down, but here you can see it retraced pretty aggressively over the week. And I'm a fan of Wombat, so let's leave that one alone. But let's see also how this B token is done. Remember that we are down about 20% or 8 wax so far. And let's see if I swap B in, it is going to get me 4.4 wax. It's also doing it all on Taco Swap. So ultimately we're going to be down about 3.6 wax or so for the week on our 40, which isn't terrible. It's about, let's see, what is that, a little under 10%, maybe like 8% or so that we're going to be experiencing as a loss from that. But 8% while the token is down 41% in a week is not terrible. It's not fantastic. But let's also look, we're looking here at B, and you can see, it's gotten a little bit volatile. And let's take a look if I go to the daily chart, it might not be enough data here yet for us to draw the Bollinger Bands, but I'm curious to see if the Bollinger Bands is another thing I really like about Wapaka's tool. You can add the indicators, and so you can see, actually, this is kind of great. So you can actually see the Bollinger Bands did start to draw, and there's the middle line, the orange here, and we were actually bouncing off that. So this is still a very bullish indication on the daily chart. If I go to the 4-hour, we're seeing a little bit of a closer look at that Bollinger Band thing. So you can see we lost it here. It became our resistance. Even the retest was failed. And then recently here on the 4-hour, we've actually crossed over now and are starting to close a couple candles above the middle line. So we are looking to move up. And I'm pretty sure if I look at the RSI, I like the stochastic RSI, so SRSI, it's probably, okay, so it is approaching overbought. So we are trying to cool off a little. Let's see if on the daily chart that tracks as well. There's not enough data yet for the daily RSI. So we'll have to stick to the 4-hour for now. And then the other one I like is on balance volume, OBV. We can add all these indicators on Wapaka's tool here. And you can actually see on balance volume is, okay, let's move all the way out and close. Actually, let me take off the, close this. Okay, there we go. So we can see on balance volume is climbing, making highs, and then making a couple lows here. Now we're looking for a new higher high. This is the 4-hour, so I'm not like putting too much weight into all these same indicators that I like to look at, because remember when we were reading the chart earlier, we were looking at these indicators on the daily and the weekly. Right now we're on the 4-hour. 4 hours are going to be a lot more noisy, a lot more fake outs than those wider timelines. But honestly, looking at these charts, I'm not shaken just yet to run for the hills. So I think I'm going to leave both of these liquidity pools alone for next week. So we had 40 wax in this one, is now 32, and then we had 100, and it's still about 100. And then since we've sold all of our yield, we now got 7.3 wax back. So we have that to do more stuff with. The other part of our DeFi position is currently on Alcor. I'm going to jump over to Alcor onto the pools page. You can see here we have been earning some yield. Our liquidity pool is currently at a range between 4 cents and 6.4, so 6.5. Since we were looking at the wax chart earlier and we were getting a kind of sense that we were expecting to see, this start to hold as resistance, which is around 5 cents, or start to become support, hopefully, and push us back up in the next few days. I feel like that range isn't too bad. We're also covered all the way down to 4 cents. So if we do start to fall further, we will be able to buy more wax cheaper. So you see this $3 side of that pool. If I actually can jump in closer here, you can see we still have minus 17% and plus 32% of the current price action range covered with our pair. And since last week, we have earned some yield too. Nothing too crazy though, just about 3 cents. So that's not, it doesn't feel like a lot, but let's take a look at what that actually adds up to as yield. So we're only actually supplying about, let's do some math here. I'm pulling out a calculator, which probably doesn't populate on everybody's screen, but it's $5.42 plus $3.77, which is our total liquidity here. That is $9.19. And then we're earning 3 cents in a week. There's 52 weeks in a year. So 3 cents times that, we're making $1.56 a year. So annualizing our yield from this last week. And then if we divide that by, what was it, 9, well, I gotta make my calculator bigger so I can see the history of it. It was 919. So if we divide that by 919, 9.19, we are pulling about 17% in APR, which isn't too bad, honestly. Stablecoin APR at 17%. This is outpacing pretty dramatically the 6% we would make for just staking our wax. So we're more than doubling just staking wax. And I don't really mind being exposed to wax USDT usually, but in light of all this news with USDT potentially having like insolvency issues or potentially being a target for a depeg attempt by Binance, maybe it's not a bad idea to mitigate our risk and to remove liquidity that's exposed to USDT. So in an effort to stay safe and follow my own wallet's activity where I've deleveraged significantly from USDT, I think I'm going to actually remove all of this and try to put this into a liquidity pool that is a little bit less exposed to USDT. So I'm going to say remove and claim all fees right now. And I'm going to sell the USDT into wax because I am concerned with USDT's potential solvency in the coming weeks or so in light of a lot of that Huobi news. The other pool we have is USDT, wax USDT, and it's not in range anymore. Let's see how out of range. Pretty far out of range. Damn. There's a huge arbitrage opportunity between wax USDT and regular USDT. It looks like pretty fucking big. So if I go here and go wax USDT, one regular USDT, so this is from EOS, is giving me a 13, almost 14% instant arbitrage. And that seems to last. Let's see if we go up to 10. Yeah, look at that. Still 13% at 10. And at 100. Okay, it's down to 2% at 100. So it's not going to be worth exploiting, honestly, because moving money as wax USDT back to the USDT on Ethereum side is going to, one, cost a 1% fee to move through the bridge, and two, cost gas on the wax side. On the ETH side, which is going to be more than $2. So this isn't necessarily worth doing at the moment. Although if we're gonna do like a $10 ARB, we could do that and let it, basically do this over and over again over the course of weeks and weeks until we have a big position in Wax USDT that's actually worth bridging. This wallet isn't going to have the kind of funds to do a play like that, so I'm not going to try. But let me refresh this. I just claimed these rewards. I should see my Wax back up. I'm at 117 Wax. I'm also going to close this position, even though it's very small. It's just in line with what I was saying. I'm concerned with USDT solvency, and I want to deleverage my exposure to it. So I'm going to remove both of these pools, claim the rewards, and move the USDT back into Wax. Now, I would normally use Wax on Edge to do these trades, but because Wax on Edge doesn't actually currently see the Alcor version 2 pools, like these targeted liquidity pools that we're participating in, I need to make sure to check both of these exchanges. So I'm going to do Wax USDT on Wax on Edge first and see, okay, for my 39 cents, I can get 7 Wax over here. And here's how it's splitting that route for me. It's doing 75% of the trade through Taco Swap, and 25 of it is going through DeFi Box. And let's see how that compares to simply going straight on Alcor. So if we do the, let's take a look. Here's Wax USDT. We have our 39 cents. And here we're getting 7.016, while on DeFi Edge, we're getting 7.027. It's actually a better deal. So I'm going to go ahead and do it on DeFi Edge. Just be sure to check both, because DeFi Edge does not see Alcor yet. It will in the future. And when that happens, then I'll be doing all my swaps directly on DeFi Edge. Or I'm sorry, Wax on Edge. And then, oh, whoops, that's the wrong one. And then I also want to swap my USDT back to Wax. So we have 370 there. Let's take a look at what that's going to produce. 74 Wax almost. Almost positive that there's not going to be deeper liquidity on Taco Swap and DeFi Box, but just to be sure, I am going to check. We'll do USDT. There it is. I'll let that load, and let's see, 49.09. And what are we getting on 73? So much better deal on DeFi on Alcor, just like we expected, honestly, because there's honestly not a whole lot of liquidity in USDT outside of Alcor. And like I said, Wax doesn't really have deep liquidity in stablecoins to begin with, so it's not that hard to find where the deepest liquidity is. Wapaka definitely makes it a little easier for us with his tool, though. All right, now we've deleveraged and we're 100% in Wax again, and what we want is to create a position that's going to earn us more Wax between now and next week. So I'm going to come up here to the analytics page on Alcor, and I can scroll down and I can see where is the most volume happening, and that is USD. It's TLM Wax by a huge margin. So you can see here we have, 24-hour volume, $7,000. That's crushing the next one down. Although you can see here, this MARTIA token is also producing $7,000. You can see that that's a very inconsistent rate, because 7,200 or so times 7 is about 8,000. And then here you can see it's only doing about, it's actually even more. Or I gotta lean in. I gotta glare on my screen here. 1 second. Yeah, okay, just as I thought. Yeah, so TLM is consistently doing this amount of volume, while this token is currently doing this volume in the last 24 hours. And you can see that by, seeing the 7-day volume is 84,000, while here it's only 21,000. And then for the full week, we have it, significantly higher. So we want consistent volume to make money as liquidity suppliers. So let's do a position in TLM Wax. And let's find out what range to use by going back to Wax on Edge and using the charts that exist here. So I'm going to type in TLM LM, as my counterpart to wax, that's going to pull up this this chart here. And here we can see the price of TLM in wax. And I'm going to go to the 1 day chart because we're trying to do this for a full week. And then I'm going to add a couple indicators just like we did before. I like the Bollinger Bands, that's BB. I like the SRSI. So just SR brings that one up. And then I like the OBV. OBV. So like to get a quick glimpse of this one, very much on the overbought side, or yeah, so looking to cool off way above the middle B bands line. So chances are, and let's see, on balance volume falling. So you can see not making a higher high. Price is about the same as it was here. You see that right here? Spot price almost the same, but look, on balance volume that goes along with that spot price, much lower. So this is indicating to me that we're not trying to push much more aggressively higher than we currently have, but rather will likely pull back to retest the middle band. So what I'm going to do is I want to set a range of of TLM wax that includes pretty much where we are right now, near the top of our range, and then we'll basically use wax to buy TLM on the way down, and that on the way down to about the middle B band line. And let's give it a little room below. So I'm going to go to maybe like the bottom of these kind of here where it pulled back and bounced. Let's make that the bottom of our range. So I'm going to lean in really quick and take a look at what wax price that is. We'll say 0.1975. And then the current price is up here. So let's do this. We already have most of our money as wax, which is perfect because that's what we mostly need. So I'm going to go into the pool and I'm going to say refresh so that it clears out this one that we already cleaned out. And I'm going to say plus new position TLM wax. The 3% pool is where all the liquidity exists. And now what I want to do is I want to toggle up here to wax so that it's denominated in wax. I'm going to click this 5.5 so it automatically makes my range much closer to the current spot price. And then again, my minimum was going to be 0.1975. That's where we saw kind of the bottom. And my maximum is about where we currently are. Remember, we're almost at the spot top here. And so I'm going to set that as close to the spot price as I can without it actually being there, which right now it's going to be negative like 0.18% below the current price. I don't want to buy any TLM because it looks pretty topped. So what I'm going to do is only supply wax, all of our wax. This is 198 wax. I'm going to add this as liquidity, and it's going to be added between the current price and where we saw the kind of like resistance level should be when we pull back. So with this position, we will be supplying liquidity as soon as the TLM token price starts to cool off by, less than 0.2%. We'll start buying TLM with our wax and start participating in supplying liquidity there. And so that should have gone through. If I wasn't paying attention if I got an error message or not. I didn't. So there it is. So we have our TLM wax position. It's currently out of range, which we knew because we created it out of range. But we also didn't have any TLM to add, so we just added only our wax. And we didn't want to buy any TLM because the chart was showing it, especially here we're looking at the chart on the 4-hour, and right now on the daily chart, it is looking like it's a little bit, it's been flatlining, overbought. We should be running out of steam a little bit here. The last few candles are also starting to, let's bring this down. You can see the last few candles are no longer crazy bullish. So likely we're going to get that pullback. And now that we've entered, we will basically, start right here where my cursor is. We'll start supplying liquidity, and we'll do so all the way to down here. So if the price falls below here, we'll end up buying all of it into TLM. But prediction here is going to be that over the next, so again, each one of these candles is 1 day. Over the next 7 new candles getting added here, what we want to happen is, it pulls down over, let's say, 3 or 4 days or whatever, and then starts coming back up as it bounces off that middle Bollinger Band line. And so that next week we should be able to come here and we should be able to have made a pretty decent amount of wax. or wax and TLM from all the trade volume. So again, right now we're out of range. If a decent like size sell happens, we'll start being in range, but we're no longer exposed to USDT at all at this point, and we're going to into next week farm wax TLM because it is the most lucrative liquidity pool to farm according to the analytics. And we're also going to stay in the taco pools for wombat wax and for bee wax. And the reason for that is not the liquidity value, but rather if we look at the meal tab under staked, we're earning an incentive. So this is liquidity mining. We're supplying liquidity and earning the mining incentive. We will be earning this no matter what happens to the price. Like you saw, our price here, 41% fell off. We ended up taking a weekly loss of about 8.5% because of the yield and because of, half of our position being exposed to wax still. So I do kind of anticipate the B token price potentially falling further, but like we saw on DeFi wax on edges chart, we saw that the B token was kind of slowing down and it was staying above the middle Bollinger Band line on the 4-hour. It's a very brand new chart though. Hard to like make super clear predictions, but like you can see here, lots of runway left for this yield. The 650% is very attractive, I feel like. So let's stay in here for another week and see how this goes. We can afford to put our 40 wax at risk here because we have, we've started with 100 wax. And you can see we currently have, this is almost 100 wax here, almost 32 wax here, and then almost another 200 wax now in our liquidity pool. So we've already come up really aggressively by doing these types of strategies. And so that 40 wax that we are putting into an admittedly riskier position, we're doing that as part of the entire portfolio where a good chunk of it is not so risk exposed. And I can live with that risk profile. It's not like we're aping all into some like unknown pool. But yeah, let's do this for next week and take a look at how this fares. We'll see if our chart reading was on point and if our ranges were set well. And we'll also by next week should have a clearer understanding of the Tether scene and see what's happened there. So I feel like I should stop talking about tech shit because while I really love it, I do know it's a lot of information. It's hard to digest some of this stuff. And so
you've also been going for 3 hours, and you got to work on artwork for our next drop before you leave tomorrow. So I
do have to get some
land this plane.
But yeah,
Downtown Detail asked, "How do y'all learn all this?" Years and years of being nerds.
Years of doing it. Yeah, I got into mining Bitcoin in like 2013, 2014. I learned how like blockchains work by like 2015 or so. I was like the guy at work who was like, you need to buy Bitcoins, for $200 you can buy one of these units. And by like 2016, when all the like markets got crazy and everyone got into it, I had already gotten, the shilling of it out of my system. Like I understood that nobody gives a fuck and nobody wants to hear me tell them what they should buy. So I just participated in all those markets. I bought some Ethereum for $19 a coin. I got my airdrop from Uniswap when Uniswap launched. They got into the whole, like they were the ones who created this like bilateral liquidity pools. So I was there from kind of the beginning and I lost a bunch of money fucking around with it until I got good enough at it to not lose a bunch of money. It's long cycle of playing with this stuff.
So Priscilla is streaming. So if you want to start earning your channel points to potentially be able to redeem a free pack on Thursday, recommend you stick around and watch her stream. I'm going to play Buying the Dip and raid into her.
Oh yeah. Get you some points to get that pack.
Oh man, your boy Kevin just lost lots of money. Oh, but that's okay. I am with you, with you. Oh man, your boy Kevin just lost lots of money. Oh, but that's okay. I am with you. Here we go, come on, push it. Buying the dip, buying the dip. Here we go, come on, push it. Buying the dip, buying the dip. Here we go, come on, push it. Buying the dip, buying the dip. Here we go, come on, push it. Oh my God, what's happening?
First of all this running by 75% of GameStop was short. GameStop was short. Short. You can't allow Wall Street to short 75% of its stocks. Crush these companies into the dirt. Thousands of stocks into the dirt. Then when the individual makes money, everyone's entrepreneurs. I have a kid who bought a house, paid $50,000 and bought a house. After decades of the short, you have to accept the fact that individual investors are playing the same game that you're playing, and now you're losing.
Here we go, come on, push it, buy the dip, buy the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, buy the dip, buy the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, buy the dip,
everybody.
buy the
Have a
dip.
good week.
Here we
See you
go,
on Thursday
come
for
on,
our
push
Truth
it.
Never
Oh my
Peak.
God, what's happening?
Yeah,
Here
thanks
we
for
go,
joining us.
come on,